pause. Kaya hindi na tumuloy yun, di ba?
Live from Jakarta, Indonesia, the battle will start here in the M7 World Championship. Let the world see us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the M7 World Championship Knockout Stage. Please welcome your hosts, Glenn, Victor, Rose, and Eterna.
Ladies and gentlemen, back-to-back elimination matches are upon us once more. But as the world can see, that isn't the only thing we have in store today.
The games are getting so intense that we had to call for backup. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, meet former Olympic swimmer, physical Asia contestant for Team Indonesia, who's finding his way back to MLBB as an Ixia main, Glenn Victor!
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Glenn. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It feels amazing to be here with both of you guys and standing here on MLBB World Stage. You know what? I'm really excited to be part of today's action. And I cannot wait to share the moment with all the fans here in Jakarta and also all the people that watching all around the world.
Honestly, it's great to have you here. We need a little bit more backup like we mentioned earlier on, and I share the same sentiment. So, we're pretty sure these matches can only get more intense from here on out. But I gotta ask, Glenn, were you able to catch yesterday's matches?
Yes, I watched Team Liquid and Onyx yesterday. To be honest, I feel a little bit sad because
yeah.
one of Indonesian team is not go through to the next round. But not to be too biased, I hope today Alter Ego will give us a good fight.
It's okay, Glenn. Don't worry. We don't feel that you're biased. You're new here. We're very nice to our guests, right, Eterna?
We are.
Now, boys and girls out there, ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from finding out. But first, let's head on to our first match featuring Aurora Gaming going up against Team Liquid in an elimination match.
And remember, these matches that we have ahead of us are all gonna be in a lower bracket, which means elimination matches, and we will have to say goodbye to a few more teams today. So, without further ado, let's kick off the fourth day of the knockout stages.
Yes, Glenn, as the guest, would you please do the honors?
Sure. Let the world see us.
Thank you very much, Eterna, Glenn, as well as Rose. Looking like a K-pop star already. But here's the thing, before we even start the day, let me introduce our casters. They'll be doing all the best of fives for today. We got Brigida, Trex, as well as Mirko. Now, Brigida, here's the thing. I hope you're feeling okay. You've been sick for the past few days, but legit, how do you feel right now?
I am feeling, oh no.
Oh, there's the sound, but okay.
No, I am feeling okay. I'm very, very excited to witness what we are about to see here as we venture into the remaining matches of the lower bracket. I know it's been very intense for some of the matches. We've been through extremes, long games, and I'm looking at Trex here who's been through that, you know?
Oh yeah. Now, here's the thing, you know, you're sick, so try not to push yourself too much. We want to see you all the way to the grand finals. Now, Trex, here's the thing, even though you did have the longest game, but the thing is, when we were casting, it didn't go all the way. It's only when we're not here, it went all 5 games. So do you feel like today we'll see the games go the distance, or is not even go to 5 games?
I hope it goes to 5 games. As you know, I love MLBB. I want
A bit too much.
I want 10 games today.
Oh.
20 plus minutes every single one. Let's do this.
I mean, like, you're the one casting, so I feel like that's perfectly fine. Speaking of casting, Americo, yesterday you had the honor to do Aurora going up against SRG, went all 5 games. What do you feel about that matchup yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic matchup. Again, something that we were already expecting coming into the upper bracket finals was it's going to be close. I don't know who's going to make it to the upper or to the grand finals first. It was very, very close for Selangor Red Giants to be the first Malaysian team ever to make it, but it was the narrative breakers, the Northern Lights, that came up and they shone brighter than SRG.
You know what? Thank you very much. Very, very love the energy. But now we're going to look at the panel here. We got Leo as well as Gideon. Now, here's the thing, Leo. I've been looking at social media, and you were very subtle about it, that you were quite excited that Aurora made all the way through to the grand finals. Now, just in case if our fans didn't catch that one, out of all the 5 games, which game would you actually recommend for the viewers to check it out?
I'd say watch Game 5, where the Akai led Aurora through a journey through time. Again, it's like we time traveled through the prime of MPLPH's greatest hits. And I think, how long did that last? That was a 20-minute game?
Yes, 23-minute game.
No, that's worth every single second.
Shout outs to you guys as well. You guys called Akai before the draft even starts. Now, Gideon, we're looking at the knockout stage. Tell us the story of how it has been since the knockouts have started.
Oh my lord, the knockouts already started with an epic Swiss stage where we were seeing, at least from the drawing section, the ID versus ID, the PH versus PH, ended up turning this entire tournament into a lower bracket hellhole. Everybody you see in the lower brackets are champions in their own right, absolute monsters, but only the best can survive, and that's what we saw between TL and Onyx ID. Same goes for TS facing off against the Young Gun Galacticos, and now here we are at match 10 and 11 where we see Aurora Turkey, after dropping a game against SRG 3-2, will be facing off against tournament favorites Team Liquid Philippines, and then the hometown heroes of AE will face off against Team Spirit.
We're going to be looking at the schedule here, but right now we're looking at the lower brackets being scary because champions of Philippines, Indonesia, as well as Malaysia is there. But Leo, talk to us about Aurora as well as Team Spirit, because even though they're non-Southeast Asian teams, but oh my goodness, they are amazing so far.
Allow me to address the less obvious fact here. The shadow of the giant looms over this matchup. The first best of 5 still has SRG all over it. Aurora took up to the limit, and SRG put Liquid in that weird spot in the Swiss. So if you're gonna put 2 and 2 together, Aurora might actually get Liquid in a spot where they're not comfortable. We might go all the way here.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm also looking at Team Spirit going up against Alter Ego, because it does seem like going up against Indonesian teams, if you want to brawl, all the other teams are much happier to brawl. And I kind of feel like that's kind of in Team Spirit's own spirit, honestly. But yeah, now we got to talk about the first matchup here. Team Liquid going up against Aurora Turkey. And remembering back, Aurora Turkey had a lot of pressure, especially from mid and the jungle, going inside the jungle of Selangor Red Giants, making it very, very difficult for them to really do anything. Do you feel like they can do the same thing against TL, though?
Well, I honestly think that it's definitely possible, but really, I feel like it boils down to the draft, right? Everybody seems to be playing in a very similar manner, where the laning phase affects the way the junglers and the trio in the mid look to rotate across the map, because every single time we see a poor early game from any one of these teams, it's just a dominating victory as time passes. Usually by 13 minutes, you have a clear indicator.
Well, gentlemen, we're not here just to talk about the games or the players, because we got to talk about the fans as well, because some lucky fans actually got a special tour backstage with Visa. Here we can see them having the time of their lives, really looking at the playrooms, maybe even some production areas. Haven't met our lucky fans so far, but shout outs to Visa, shout outs to VV. Basically speaking every language on earth. Feels very comfortable to talk to our fans as they're moving around the stage.
V has international appeal all across the world. And of course, our 50 lucky fans got that exclusive look at the M7 backstage, right? It's not only looking at the player rooms, they're looking at the areas which these players take a rest in, where they discuss their battle plans, and even checking out what's going on behind the scenes of our awesome stage.
They even got the hottest seats in the house. They got to experience what it's like to be on the VIP platform and meet the players who are competing here today. They actually saw, you got pictures with Aurora, Turkey.
Yeah, and it's amazing because even we haven't explored that far. We're like, talent room? Here.
And Liquid, they got pictures with Liquid.
We never taken pictures with Liquid. But yeah, anyways, now we got to talk about this game. Let's talk about Aurora here. Like, what do you feel Aurora could do to actually have a pretty good chance against Team Liquid? Because so far, if you want to talk about weaknesses of Team Liquid, there's really not much.
Yeah. The Liquid weaknesses have been exposed by SRG and Aurora PH, so that's why they're a little more dangerous. But if you're going to ask me how they can take this all the way, I'd say adjust your expectations. If you're looking at Aurora Turquí's preparation, it's very specific. You'll look at how they attacked SRG. It's a very different pattern from how they attacked everyone else. Now they have to adjust again. They have to look at more than just the mid trio and actually consider what Oheb and Sanford are up to.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this because there's no way across. If Aurora Turkey wants to make it past this, they have to go through the final boss. Now, Gideon, it's very weird having a team in the lower bracket, and we keep calling them the final boss. But with the performance that they've been having, yeah, they deserve that title.
No, they absolutely do. And I think that doesn't really change too much considering that the losses that we did see them actually take within the Swiss stage, I think that it's one of those few things where it's just, I gotta try and push the meta as much as I possibly can, because after their win over the Sky Kings, it's looking kind of grim because that was a dominating victory and most people thought that it was gonna be a lot closer, maybe closer to a 3-2 or even a 3-1.
And that's why people are saying an angry Liquid is a scarier Liquid. They've lost twice now in major matchups, and them going through the lower bracket isn't even a bad thing. It's actually something that has proven through history, if a Filipino team goes through the lower bracket, whether they are a favorite or not, it usually leads to good things. This is nothing new for Liquid. Even Carl TZ specifically, and Sanford, and JP and Sanji, they've been here, literally.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there's no way to say it, like, in a good way, but basically it's just like, you get more practice. And that sounds weird, but really it is the case. Sometimes you just need that warm-up. You got to test a few strategies to see if it works, especially in the best of 5. You can afford 1 or 2 losses just to see whether this strategy works out or not. Even Team Liquid losing a game against Onyx yesterday, but then it's like, okay, you know what, experiment's over. We're going to close it out now, and it becomes a 3-1. Now, before we check out Aurora going up against Team Liquid, we actually have prepared a special video just to see how it has been going on behind the scenes between both teams. So we're just waiting on that for now. I'm really looking forward to see if Aurora is able to actually catch up with Team Liquid, because again, as the final boss, I want to see if they can do it. But looks like the video is ready, so we're going to check out Aurora against Team Liquid.
Gonna choose Aurora Turkey.
Aurora Turkey will be the first pick by Team Liquid Philippines.
This match against Aurora Turkey will be a rematch like in MSC 2025, and we're gonna do our best to repeat the same results.
I see this match as they want a revenge for us, beating them in the last MSC, and I want to win against them again.
MSG was completely different. The games were ending so quick that we cannot see. I think it's gonna be a tough match because they're the last world champions.
They're one of the scariest teams here also because we saw their potential against the SRG and we're gonna respect them.
Aurora Gaming, look the Giants in the eye and tell them match!
When I saw the performance of Aurora versus SRG, I was feeling very proud of them.
I think they improved a lot in terms of drafting, and also I feel like they're not scared to play anymore, unlike in the MSC playoffs. I feel like right now I can see their confidence is really high right now.
Daha rahat hissediyoruz çünkü bu bootcamp sürecimiz çok fazla zaman aldı ve diğer başka turnuvalara da katıldığımız için daha çok tecrübemiz var ve alışığız şu an ve daha iyi hissediyoruz. Evet, metayı biliyoruz şu an, daha iyisini yapabiliriz ama daha yani tam olarak.
Team Liquid has started as a team with the best micro mechanics. All of their individual players can make individual plays that will make the team good.
They're micro-based team actually because like they can make insane plays. They have good communication, very good skill castings, but we improved our macro and we can deal with them.
I think the strengths of Aurora Gaming is their early game aggression and also their mechanical skills.
I feel like it's a very mechanic game you're gonna see in this upcoming matchup, and we're just gonna beat them in terms of mechanics and also the macro.
I think this match will be so intense.
My message to Lunar is that I'm gonna try my best to prove to you that I'm the best explainer in the world.
MS'ye bakılırsa şu an o kadar güçlü durmuyorlar çünkü meta ve draftlar çok farklı olduğu için onlara uygun olmadığını düşünüyorum.
We're just gonna show them what's the mindset of a champion.
The Turkish contenders, Lunar, Bagu, TNT, Singy Boom, and Rosa. This is Aurora Gaming!
Aurora has looked amazing so far, but now they gotta deal with the final boss. And now, introducing their opponents, the final boss.
Let's go! Team Liquid!
And now with both teams are up on stage, this is again another elimination match between Team Liquid going up against Aurora Gaming. And now guiding them through this match are their coaches. For Aurora Gaming, it's Coach Bagelsev and Apex 47. For Team Liquid, it's Coach RC and Coach Tic Tac. With them is the M7 head referee, Gary, to ensure the integrity and fairness of the tournament. And now, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for both teams! Aurora Gaming going up against Team Liquid!
We honor these athletes up on this stage. This is an elimination match, best of 5. Good luck to both our competitors.
And now we're going to be talking about both teams here. We're going to be looking at the lineup coming in from Aurora Gaming, Lunar, TNZ, Rosa, Pago, as well as Sigibum. And I got to say, everyone's really stepped up. But after watching that video, we got to see how Lunar really matches up against Sanford. Because Sanford is saying that, I want to show you why I'm the best.
Locally known as Bizim Çocuklar, all over Turkey, fans are cheering for Aurora Gaming, whether they're here, whether they're back home. TNZ is an amazing jungler. He doesn't play the normal heroes. It's actually hard for Liquid to define, are we going to play on the utility spectrum? Are we going to play an assassin? Or is he going to try to play his Guinevere, his Harley? He's actually played 8 in their whole run here in M7.
And that's not all. He's got backup coming in from one of the strongest mid trios we've seen here in the competition, with Rosa #1 amongst all mid laners with the highest damage per minute. And not even that, Sigubum #1 among goals when it comes down to tower structural damage.
Yeah, it really looks like they have an idea here where Rosa is going to be the carry while Sigibum make sure he gets the objectives. Now, again, the final ball team of Liquid, Sanford, Carl, TZ, Sanji, JP, as well as OHEB. And as much as everyone has been performing, what really has been impressing me is JP, especially when he gets that Cho. It really does feel a bit unfair.
And when Cho gets into the hands of JP, it enables the cores. I'm looking at Carl Tizi, the GOAT. He's gone through a career renaissance. Back then, when he first won his 2nd World Championship, yes, his 2nd World Championship for the first time. You can only do that once in your whole career. He was a jungler, utility jungler. He wanted to take all the damage, but now he's all up in the gold. He's got #1 in gold per minute and gold per game average.
Which again, in this current metagame, not easy to do. We're not seeing the gold per minute go anywhere past 800 or even 900. We're still staying above 750, and even then, that's an impressive score for the greatest of all time.
Which is honestly quite impressive coming in from the teams, because we actually have differences of 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 14,000. And yet the average really isn't all that big. Right now, you guys are watching both teams up on a stage. And I'm really wondering if Aurora has figured out a way. Because again, Aurora Philippines have figured out a way to deal with a team Liquid. And being in the same org, of course, there are some secrets they got to keep for themselves, but you always got to wonder, maybe they have some idea on how to do a Team Liquid.
I think that's an asterisk. When Aurora faced off against Liquid and they dropped them in the early bouts of the knockout stage, Liquid was still figuring themselves out. Liquid just barely got to play that Sora, and then it's not to take away from Liquid's efforts. They actually got the Claude win over the Freya. So that's something that you gotta note. Sometimes when you think you won the matchup against Liquid, that's not always true. So again, I want Aurora to reconsider their draft, their approach. Bad Gal Seth and Apex 47, they had better do their homework.
There's got to be bigger ideas. You can't just win a single battle when the war is at stake, when elimination is at stake as well. But maybe there's some truth behind it. We heard it from Aurora Gaming themselves, right? TL might not be well suited or well positioned in the current metagame, and that's why they were soul searching throughout not only Swiss stage, but coming into the first rounds here, we are seeing them trying to push that limit and maybe find themselves in this new tournament metagame.
Something that we do have to see if Aurora Gaming will be respecting the Claude, because so far OHEB has been winning all of them, 5 games, 100% win rate on that Claude. So I'm sure a lot of teams have tried using the Freya, but I really feel like it's not a matchup that the hero just wins by itself. It really does depend on how you use the Freya.
So we're seeing a clear signal for Aurora. You don't want to risk that Claude. Just the same as Coach Tic-Tac and Coach RC should heed the warnings. Watch out for Lunar's Uranus. 100% win rate now. It's a soft counter to Carl TZ's Yusun Shin. The Uranus is so tough, the Uranus is so chunky, he can just get in your face, cancel all of the passive damage you get by changing range. So these are 2 big heroes that I think they should watch out for in red and blue first phase prio bans.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting off the draft here. It looks like it is going to be expanding rivers. And just a quick note so far, at least here in the knockout stage, blue side has over 60% win rate. When it comes to the red side, only 30. So even just by that statistic, Team Liquid is already looking pretty strong in the draft.
They're looking extremely well positioned overall. And since now we are back on that blue side, once again, the argument is still going to be, resonating with a lot of the fans out there. One of these sides need to be conquered, one of these sides need to be flexible, but it really boils down to what are those big play tickets, right? What are those big ticket heroes, and Sora just happens to be one of them.
Yeah, and nowadays it does seem like ever since Innocent has shown that Sora is actually quite strong in the gold, it makes Sora more tricky for you to prepare against, because before it's like, yeah, most probably he is going to go EXP, but now you just don't know. Yep. Especially yesterday, O had an amazing game with the Sora.
And you get heat checked. Can you play Valentina XP? Can you play Valentina Gold? And if ever you do commit to Valentina Mid, what other value are you going to get? It's definitely a game of chess and resources. And look, by picking the Farsa, they're riding that we are a better mid-trio wave that Aurora has started against SRG. And I love this commitment to Yi Sun Shin that Carl DZ is showing. It's like, I don't care about the Leomord. You, as long as they don't get the Uranus. I don't know if the Uranus is worth picking in Red 3.
Yeah. Right now we have a fun fact here. M7 Lord Slayer, Carl DZ leads all players in Lord control rate, 71.88%. We have a total of 23 kills over to the Lord. Again, probably part reason why he has such high gold per minute as a jungler.
Yeah, no, I was pretty surprised with that stat as well. I was expecting it to be closer towards the 60% rate, but pushing it up to 70 gives a lot of confidence for them when it comes down to these neutral objectives. I don't know whether they want to contest for Turtle specifically, but now that they have Yuzong, there's so many ways that they can actually play this game. I'm hoping for the Uranus, and there we go, the 100% win rate on the line.
Yep, you have a decent lane against the Yuzong. You can go hunt for the Yi Sun Shin. So this kind of neutralizes that early game advantage you have as a Yuzhong to just kind of scout out the vicinity of the Turtle Pit. Now going into the second phase, we know that the Sora is a gold laner going into the hands of Oheb, but what does Aurora play now? They can also block out JP's heroes, but they already took one, the Hylos. Would it be good to take out the Cho?
I feel like Cho is actually pretty solid to ban out.
Cho's not a bad idea.
Unless they want it themselves.
It kind of depends, right? They've already got their hyperscaler in the Yi Sun Shin. I think that their side lanes have basically been figured out at this point. Really, it's about holding on to maintaining control. I think there's an argument for Khalid. There's an argument for Cho. As much as I want to see Hilda, this might not be the map for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with the Louis ban, because even though Farsa has a good matchup against the Louis, this is probably just respect, saying that even if we win the lane, they'll figure it out, say, past 12 minutes, that how to use Louis to get the macro advantage.
Yeah, by banning the Louis, Aurora are accepting their vulnerability. They're very area dependent when it comes to fights. Where the Feathered Airstrike is, where Lunar puts himself as the Uranus, because he has to walk, rather levitate there. With purpose. And then the Leomord, if you hit the Phantom Steed the wrong direction, even if you do get a movement speed buff, you're kind of lost. So they want to take that away from Sanji. And there's the Freya ban. Interesting. Swiggy Boom has been relying on the Freya quite often. Picked it 3 times so far until today, and won twice with it.
Yes, and it's strange to see because, number one, what is Liquid really afraid of in this Freya? Are they worried that they have to deal, they're forcing Oheb on this Sora to say, you must stun her, you must lock her down, let the rest of us kind of deal with the back line of the team. If you happen to catch Freya alongside with the Uranus, that's even better, but I don't think that's a resource that Teal actually wants to utilize, right? So better to ban it out than to think too hard about it. And Aurora, good response with the Hilda, but Khalid and Cho still wide out in the open.
I kind of feel like for TL, what they're trying to do is make sure that Swiggy Boom does not win the matchup against Oheb. Like, whatever you pick, you're not going to be able to deal with the Sora, and that just makes their movements around the map going to be pretty slow.
What's up for the Turkish Trigger Man? The Granger still out there? I wouldn't carry. There's way too much that can take down the carry.
I mean, they want him on Claude. They're trying to shoehorn him in.
Yeah. It's clear Liquid is saying, you want the Claude, you can have the Claude.
But then what's going to be the answer then? Because I feel like the 3 heroes that they have is pretty good answers against Claude, but if you're letting you go, there must be more.
I think they need to lock in the Khalid or the Cho here. Ideally, Khalid just a little bit more because that Raging Stance is nasty. But instead, they're going to go with Kalia just in case. So no matter what, whether it's Khalid, whether it's going to be Cho, you try anything sneaky, Tsunami Slam incoming.
I feel like I'm more afraid of Khalid, honestly.
I like the Kalia. They got the combo wombo with the Leomord and the Barca. It's just easier.
And there's natural synergy as well. I think TL, they've got enough disruption. The question is, how do they maintain mid-control now that they have to deal with this Kalia? All trades are going to be a little tougher. I think there's an argument for high loss here, just to make sure that the team can dive a little bit faster, a little bit harder.
Would be nice, but Aurora read into that. It's banned. So now they have the opportunity to play Cho. But again, the Kali is there to kind of stop it right in its tracks. Also, what is Sanji playing?
Reporting for Gimme!
Okay. Thought it. We overshot.
Yeah, we overshot. And that's the danger with the draft right now.
Gato was there the whole time. He's so simple.
I think this is just simple answers, simple solutions to maintain control over mid. The Kimmy is what I'm a little worried about, right? You're going to take Purify, you know you're basically going to get chased down by the Leomord, and you get completely outranged by Farsa. So Sanji's entire philosophy for this game, I need to win, I need to make sure later down the line I could get a Sky Piercer if necessary, but for the most part, anybody's running towards us, I have to peel them off.
Now Aurora, one more pick to complete their lineup here, and they're still going to pick up the Claude. We're going to see whether Sigiboom is able to navigate around a Team Liquid here, having double fighters. Going to be quite a fast composition. But even Team Liquid said, the thing about Aurora is that they're pretty aggressive in the early game. What do you feel about the drafts, Leo?
I think the aggression is definitely something to watch out for, but Carl TZ will not back down. Looking at the lineup, especially with how OHIP can unlock himself so quickly away from this Claude, because the Claude's just going to farm, I think Liquid can catch up. Liquid can get to a point where even Sanji's not going to be afraid anymore.
Well, thank you very much, Leo, as well as Gideon. And now with the drafts being done, we're going to be throwing it over to our casters for the first game, Team Liquid against Aurora.
Thank you so much, panel. Welcome to the Land of Dawn, folks. This is our first match of the day. Team Liquid versus Aurora Gaming. And man, what a draft to start things off. Here we go. Bring it up. Thoughts on the draft?
I completely agree with what our panelists have said earlier. This can potentially be a very aggressive start once again for Aurora Turkey, and we've seen it against the Yi Sun Shin too. This is exactly what Sekai's has been through in their previous matchup. So Carl TZ definitely would need to watch out, and we have to see the lanings go really, really well, especially for Liquid's side lane.
It's also a dangerous game here, Aurora Gaming are playing. It is a best of 5, so maybe they might be experimenting here in game number 1, but to give Sanford, the apex predator, the Yu-Song, hey, I think the last time we saw it was Young Gun Galacticos to let that open, and we got a classic Sanford moment in the start of the game. Let's take a look at the emblems.
It's a weakness finder too for Sanji. We're seeing on the Kimmy a bit more damage expected to come through, and generally the same. Still the fighter emblems coming through, especially for Sigiboom, taking care of potentially whatever pressure can come, knowing that Liquid might want to pay a bit more attention towards the Goldeen rather than the Uranus of Lunar.
Yeah. Well, now it's just really, really slow laning. We heard earlier Sanford really say that Aurora Gaming are known for their early aggression. So far, it's all chill, just pokes here and there. Not as crazy as their approach against Selangor Red Giants, but Trex, now to call TZ.
Well, a lot of damage on a Pagu. Force is trying to get away, but first blood goes over to Sanji. Now, I want to touch on something. Aurora Gaming, I think they really focused on their mid. They sacrificed the off lanes. It's something they like to do, but now they're already losing a little bit in the mid, which is not a good start for the Turkish team.
Yeah.
That's the question. Are they scared right now to make a move? Because, again, they're approaching against Selangor Red Sanford.
Oh, gank up in the top. Sanford able to dash back. Carl TZ also getting caught up, though. TNZ with the Steed trying to move in. Can they get the kill? Yes, Lunar picks it up. And now Sanford in trouble as well. Lunar goes under the tower, looking for one more shot, but Lunar has to back off. in a bad spot though. Sanji almost spots him. Turtle coming up. Pagu able to lock on. Rosa looking for positioning as well. And a bit of airstrike comes down. Sanji pushed back and taken out. Pagu now onto the Turtle. May fall as well. Oheb able to pick up the kill. Oheb steals the Turtle and JP is low. But Lunar stands in the midst of two members and Rosa finds a double kill. Aurora Gaming, it's back and forth 3-2. All right.
That could have been really good for Aurora already. Even though they lost Pagu, they were able to shift their attentions towards the EXP lane. And again, the EXP laner here, the Yuzhong of Stanford, is one of the biggest conditions you have to take note of when it comes to the Turtle. But Oheb, close call there. But speaking of Oheb, he literally turned things around in that fight.
With the Phantom Steed once again, gonna get sandwiched up by JP here. The Tsunami Slam back though, Oheb goes down. Tienzi might be able to just get away, he does! What? AOG misses! JP, where are you going into the tri-bush now? Pagu. What? Here up on the top side though, a gank on a Sanford. You mentioned aggression, Mirko. Well, Aurora Gaming is bringing it.
Hey, early on I was like, are they scared to make a move just because they're up against Team Liquid, such big names, a lot of pressure? Then they were like, no, we were waiting for the right time to strike, and they pounced on Team Liquid. Man, it really looked like with the first blood, Liquid had it under control. You would see the classic Filipino, all right, let's take it slow, but Tienzi.
More damage, JP brought low. Trying to get some health back, but it's 4-1, and there's just no escape. JP pushed back once more. That airstrike. TMZ gets the kill, and now Lunar's laughing. But wait, the damage from Carl Teasy. Just too much. They get a good trade 1-1.
What a traction pulse from Sanji to save Carl Teasy there in a tough spot. And Carl, with the instant, he held onto the Mountain Chakra for so long so that he can combo in together. And therefore, these two backliners can just back each other up.
Yep, fortunately, Liquid are always ready whenever the fights happen in the mid lane. But whenever we see the fast rotations come into play, and Aurora taking advantage of it once again.
That's two ults. They baited out two big ultimates, AOG down, and the Black Dragon form as well. And look at the timing. 1 second for the Turtle to spawn right now. Aurora Gaming, they got a resource advantage, but they still got to be careful because Tienzi used the Phantom Steed.
Yep, JP doesn't have the AOG either, but there's the Mountain Shocker already. Will they actually go for this?
Slam doesn't use it. Finally catches Sanford. Sanford able to lock on Rosa with a flicker back. Sigiboom comes in with a blazing duet. A lot of damage lands onto Lunar. Lunar needs to try to back up. Turtle does go into the hands of Team Liquid. Nobody goes down though.
Yeah. It works so well when Liquid are at least prepared or together as 5. Oheb, we saw it happen earlier too during the first Turtle. He was able to save things for Liquid. The gold lead right now existing in Aurora Gaming's hands could have been so much more if only Oheb didn't take away that Turtle and a couple kills. Now Oheb.
In a bad spot, TNZ should be able to get away from this. Wait, no, Rosa shows up to the party. AOG does catch on to Rosa. I mean, the back and forth, the trades right now, these teams are reading each other so cleanly.
Non-stop action.
Should be okay. Lunar brought down to 50%. Carl Teasy might want to try to push this. Lunar backs up with the consecration.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Non-stop action, bro.
Non-stop.
Two teams just want to go ban for ban everywhere on the map. They're so instant in the reactions now. Tsunami Slam with the Purify. That's about it. Let's take a look at the item builds here at the 5-minute mark.
Okay. I kind of get it for Aurora Gaming. This is really a fast rotating lineup, but if we were to take a quick look at the items here, Pagu affording to go for the Oracle first item. I know this has been a thing for Kalea for the longest time now, but I think this also signifies just how confident they are in terms of playing the early game. They just really need to go for the amount of sustain that he can offer, especially knowing that there's no reliable burst damage just yet to come from Team Liquid. Oh, but with the setup.
Cloud brings back Rosa. Rosa taken out. So if Team Liquid can find some more pickoffs just like that, they're going to be able to even out the playing field. Instead of bringing the big 5v5s, look for the small plays.
Yeah, again, for Aurora Gaming, it really looks like they've been winning out on the flashy plays department, right? The big team fights, but the slow build, AOG!
He does connect onto TNZ, plus a Black Dragon and a Petrify. It's a whole lot of damage, and the Phantom Steed does come out, but it's just not enough. He's fighting back. TNZ! What? Able to get away! And now JP pays the price for the chase, but he's still standing there. Sigiboom into the backside with a blazing duet. Able to be on my back. He also survives. Pagu's still standing, but Oheb isn't having it. Able to get the kill. Sigiboom needs to get back under the tower. This is grade A MLBB right now. Rosa on to Oheb. Carl! The kill, and Carl Teasy joins the fight along with Sanford.
There is no time for stops. Both teams, again, just going at it. Every Every time we see a fight down below, there's a turtle being taken while Sanford's going 1v1 against the Uranus and Barbiel's trying to run away.
Yeah.
And that was Lunar trying to go for the steal, but Carl gets it. All right, we finally have some downtime. What the hell happened there, Brig?
I know. I'd have to double check whether or not the anti-heals are already in for Team Liquid, but fortunately, because of the enhanced basic attacks, JP definitely was still able to live through all of that. So maybe now that they do have it, they can afford to be a bit more aggressive and a bit more focused on taking down Tianzi, because for the past few team fights we've seen, Tianzi's always been surviving, but there's a Black Dragon form and the AOG.
Has to use a Tsunami Slam just to get away there. Sanford, though, able to get the big damage onto Rosa. Here's Tsunami Slam onto Sanford, and now Sanford switch back. Tienzi shows up out of nowhere and gets the kill. And Lunar, once again, just harassing Oheb. Every time you think one of the members are going to win the fight, the other team comes out on top.
The Apex Predator, he smelled blood in the water, but it was a bait from Aurora Gaming.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're seeing how Liquid are kind of reading into this still. It's not like they're being a bit too reactive just yet. Carl TZ still very much focused on farming. He knows what he has to do as the Yi Sun-shin. So later on, we will be seeing him a bit more active when it comes to the team fights, but now it's just Liquid trying to stop these fast rotations and plays that are coming from Aurora Gaming.
Tienzi able to push back. Whoa! Carl TZ goes down! Rosa picks up the kill, and Ice Shifting Clouds on multiple members. Oheb! But wait, the Tsunami Slam. Oheb goes down as well. Tienzi still standing strong. Siggy Boom Beam Eyes to the side. He's going to try to take this tower on the top side. Aurora Gaming outclassing TL right now.
They're too good. They're too good at choosing timings and choosing when to fight. They know when a crucial member of Liquid is down. Sanji!
Might not be able to get away from this one. Another airstrike wipes him off the map.
Rosa, Tienzi, everyone are playing so darn well. And we understand again that, hey, we didn't get to see the Leo Mort first from Tienzi this tournament, but he was the first guy to bring it up back then when no one was playing it. So when he got back on the horse, he was like, I got this. This could be, is probably, I don't know if we can refer to the panel, the best Leo Mort performance at M7 so far. Tienzi, we know him for, again, the last the Joys, the Fannies as of recent, but he's back on his signature heroes. I'm just wondering when the Amon's gonna show up. Tsunami Slam.
Agu able to get the pick on Oheb. Oheb might not be able to take this. Gets away, but Lunar tries to grab him, has to back up, and AOG defensively from Team Liquid. Aurora Gaming now waiting for the Lord to come down on the top side.
Okay, this is the 100% win rate of the Uranus that we're talking about here. Lord still full HP. Rosa!
A little bit of trouble, forced to use the flicker back. Lunar brought down to about 20%. Able to just get away. Aurora Gaming just playing the range right now. Tienzi comes in with a Phantom Steed, brings him back into the Feathered Airstrike, a Shifting Clouds from Oheb, but is it enough? Tsunami Slam. Sanford now into the back line as well. Black Dragon goes out, Oheb goes down. Tienzi able to get the kill, and Aurora Gaming are advancing.
They got waves. Siggy moves on the base already. One more base turret left.
My gosh.
Right, a nice Tsunami Slam once again lands on Sanford, and Sanford is gone! It's 3v5 right now! Aurora Gaming with an 8k gold lead and a wave coming in!
Okay, Carl TZ and Sanji are there. They still have ways to clear Barossa!
Strike. They won't be able to defend. Tienzi takes out JP. Another wave of minions coming down the top side. It's Sanji, Carl TZ up again.
They're on it!
If there's a team that could do it, they could try, but Siggy Boom with a blazing duet to clear out the map. They lock onto the base, and they take game number 1.
10 minutes and 54 seconds to deal with the final boss. Aurora Gaming with their new version, a refined version of the draft of the playstyle that we saw from them against Selangor Red Giants.
It was a bit too similar to what we saw yesterday against SRG. And SRG definitely were able to adjust, were able to take their time. But if we were to observe Liquid and their game so far, the game ones are just so important for this team, and for you to take it away from them in that manner, that's definitely gonna affect them in some way.
You know, we've seen so many teams try to pull off the Leomord Farza combination with a nice tanky mid, and it seems like Aurora Turkey has just mastered it. They're one of the few teams that can get away from it.
What's up with the Auroras, man? I didn't think I would be able to see the Northern Lights all the way in Indonesia and Southeast Asia, but again, it's both Auroras doing so well. What a performance in game number 1, an absolute stomp at that against Team Liquid. We're gonna throw it over to the panel here to see what they have to say about this game, because they probably have a lot to say, let's be honest here. My God. And what do you have a question for the panel?
My question for the panel?
Yeah, throw a random question.
Riggy.
How did that happen to the Yu Zhong?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, thank you very much, our casters. That was an amazing game. And yes, I have a lot of questions. And to answer our casters, we are getting some stats of Leomord all across the board here in M7. There's a few things that I really want to touch on. But first, I feel like the broad thing that we can discuss is that Aurora seems to be very familiar with the habits of Team Liquid, because across the board, TNZ, Pagu, it looks like they were able to get major ults before even starting anything, Leo.
Yeah, just like how you deal with final bosses in yay old video games times, you gotta buy that thick book, like a strategy guide, and that's what they found out. Again, Team Liquid has been on a rampage for the better part of the past year, and they saw their tendencies, they saw their weaknesses. To answer the final question before they threw over to us, how did that happen to the Yu Zhong? How was the Apex Predator put down a notch and almost seemingly put down to the bottom of the food chain? I'll tell you how. Zero follow-up. What Aurora did was they dismantled Liquid's aggression, and they punished them for thinking that they could win in a fight. But truth be told, look at the draft, look at the lineup. It's so simple. Kalia, Farsa combo, Leomord, there's not enough burst to take him down, at least in the early to mid game. And then the rest just enjoyed what the mid trio set up.
Yeah, I like it where they just play towards their strength, draft very simply. And again, it kind of looks like for them, it's like, you know what, Southeast Asians, they play very fast. So how about we just play faster? Because, again, the rotations coming in from mid make it so that the side lanes could not do much.
No, that's exactly it, right? Because, again, the laning phase is so important for both of these teams. Notice the way that they're actually fighting is, hey, at a certain point, we can't just keep on sending resources and continuously trade against our opponent. What we do have to do is divide and conquer. Pagu doesn't necessarily need to be standing right next to Rosa, but in lane, they made sure that there were two peas in a pot to sell the idea. When you see Pagu, you think Rosa is very close by, which is why we saw that Sanford ended up dying on that top side. Unfortunately, yes, Luna got the better hand of him, but really, without that feathered airstrike, it wasn't going to happen.
We're going to talk about Pagu and Rosa a little bit later on, but now we got to look at the MVP, and it's got to be TNZ on this Leomord. As Brigida would say, he's giving very Sanford of yesterday, where basically Sanford refuses to die, avoid all the 5-man, 4-man gangs. TNZ, there's many times like, oh, he's going down, right? Right? And then he just doesn't.
Bit of a stretch to compare him to Sanford, but what is not a stretch is the fact that this might be, on paper, the best Leomord performance in M7. What would rival it would possibly be that turnaround game by Alter Ego on Yazuki against Aurora PH, but 607 MVP, this is definitely up there.
And I'm hoping that in the highlights we get to see the small things that made all the difference in this fight, right? Because the initial first blood we saw from the side of Team Liquid was great. You're targeting Pagu down, you're trying to slow him down as much as you can. But as these fights continue to happen, right, just notice that TNZ, for the most part, surviving some pretty awkward situations when he should have died so many times. And this is just the beauty of Barbiel. With the extra stats, you can get away with so much. And you are stronger with 3 items in comparison to the Yishin Shin, which is why you see when Kaltizi goes into those 1v1s, it feels like he doesn't exist.
And to defend all of my co-Leomord mains, there is no extra HP when you get Phantom Steed. You get extra hybrid defense, yes, but the reason why this happens is because you become suddenly so slippery. You can attack while moving, you get lifesteal, spell vamp, killing spree not to mention, you add on that. That's a secret as to why TNZ did not die. That is a beautiful thing. It's almost as beautiful as a Lancelot puncturing through a crowd.
But we also have to address the fact that this game is one of the faster games here at M7. Most of our games average out on that 20-minute mark. The Holy Shielding, the way that they managed this was pretty impressive, especially on that top side where they got the wave to actually make contact with the Holy Shielding first before the Lord actually got his punch. So the Lord was still at full health when it's punching down on the inhibitor.
And not the dogpile on the already down Liquid. It's a game, but still, you know, a point away from saying goodbye at M7. I think they were pretty loosey-goosey about this fight. They did not respect the already clear winning matchups, lane per lane, even trio per trio. And I think they were a little too overzealous. They were so confident that even in the early game, Ohib lost out on range. Yes, he still stayed around, got taken down. Even Sanji picked fights against Rosa, who again is also outranged, does not have a flicker. You can't purify out of sheer damage.
Yeah, you can't purify out a lot of things when Aurora is just chasing you down the road as well, which is why we see a lot of preemptive moves come out from TNZ using Barbiel, that Phantom Steed, to probe a reaction, and he gets a lot of reactions. The AOG into the Black Dragon form transformation as well. All of it was getting thrown out as soon as they saw Barbiel. Worst yet, I think the big mistake here is in the draft when they decided to say, hey, we need Yi Shinshin over a Fredrin, even though it was wide out in the open, because if you're positioning for that Kimmy, there's not really a lot of people who can peel from except for JP, but they need that AOG to disengage.
Which now becomes an egg and the chicken problem. Should they have gone Fredrin if they were playing the Kimmy, or should have changed their mid lane pick since they already have the Yi Shinshin anyways?
Now, gentlemen, as long with our casters as well, since we're talking about Leo Mort and they want to know some stats, funny enough, on paper, the best Leo Mort so far is actually one shot from Team Spirit. And the reason being is, number one, he has not lost just yet, highest amount of kills, lowest amount of deaths, and quite a lot of teamfight participation, almost 80% teamfight participation in all of his games. Though I do have to say, like, in context here, he has 3 wins, the same as Yazuki as well as Skies. But again, One Shot has not lost so far. So on paper, it's actually One Shot on top with that Leo Mort.
I think that One Shot, he's pretty good at it, but I think the stats are going to change real soon because TNZ is rising up real quick on that. But keep in mind, Lunar is still 100% win rate on this Uranus.
5 games!
5 games, and Sigaboom, I think this is one of his better Claude performances.
I would say this is just one of the better performances from Aurora Turkey in general. But again, we saw how Selangor Giants was able to adjust because it does seem like Aurora, if they're going up against a composition that has a Yi Shinshin, they have figured out how to deal with it. And that's basically just to make sure that Yi Shinshin doesn't die, but not really interacting with him personally. Just interact with the support around him. Speaking of support, do you guys want support like a coach inside of pockets? Well, you guys can get it now because check out the AI insights from the Realme 15 Pro. It has win rate predictions, analyze goal items, everything in real time. It really is like having a strategy coach in your pocket. That's the AI gaming coach for you, but it doesn't stop there. In a fight, you want to execute those perfect combos. You can actually set the consecutive skills combo with just one tap. It does everything for you. It guides your strategy and elevates your execution. That's a full AI-powered edge from prediction to performance. It's a complete package. You play, we carry. And that's the Realme 15 Pro, the M7 official gaming phone, which is being used by all of our players on the stage.
So much fun, so much fun. Great to have a phone of this caliber every day. And honestly, I don't know how many photos I've already taken on this bad boy, but it only gets better. The problem is that whenever I go traveling, my biggest issue is that I can't pay for these cool products. Half the time I'm like, man, I put my card in and it just doesn't work.
Hey, I mean, like, here's the thing. If you really want to pay for stuff, we got our good friend here. We got to talk about Visa, and here is V once again. This is V, our good old buddy here. And I want to see, like, which part of the world he has been to. I like that he brought our fans all across. So now I'm going to call in V to see what he has to say.
안녕하세요. 저 이름은 V예요. 저는 전 세계를 연결하는 비사에서 여러분의 믿음직한 마스코트예요. 빠르고 안전하며 스마트한 결제를 도와주는 곁에 있어야 할이에요. 쇼핑도 영화도 일상 속 작은 결제도 V와 함께라면 언제나 안심할 수 있어요. 자, 이제 함께 또 편리하게 즐거운 카슐리스 라이프를 시작해요. 앞으로 잘 부탁드려요.
Nice. I wasn't expecting Korean V, but I didn't know. How many more languages does V have?
Dude, a lot. Very, very feminine with that voice. You know what? Shout out to who voiced V.
He's young.
Very. And already traveling all around the world. And again, that's the real MVP helping us out here as well as the fans. But now for you guys as well, we got battle passes. The M7 bonuses are here. The M7 pass went live all the way from the 1st of January. So if you guys haven't gotten on it yet, seems a bit weird because it's packed with a lot of stuff like the Granger Thunder Ascendant Epic skin, the Cosmic Finality Prime skin, and you guys can even see the figurine. It's there, like down there. This is amazing, by the way. Looks amazing, and the thing is, you guys can also get the Gatot Kacha Solar Spark skin for free, and of course the fan favorite M5 Yuzong skins and Revamp M Championship skins are also available. So make sure you guys grab the pass, because again, we've been saying it here, it's probably the best value for money when it comes to what you can get here in the Mobile Legends.
Level check, I'm at 47.
Oh man,
I already have the Gatot skin.
I need those more diamonds. I need more diamonds, but don't miss out your opportunities here today. Quickly pick up that battle pass and max that bad boy out. Speaking of bad boys, though, I think that right now the draft is kind of like, if I'm in TL's position, I'm thinking we got to ditch this Yishin Shin.
I mean, like, here's the thing. I kind of feel like it's nice that during the Swiss stage, we have a certain meta. Now we're going into the knockout stage, we're developing a certain meta. Like, for example, right, during the Swiss stage, one of the most winningest hero is that Eve, and now Eve keeps on getting banned out. But now the Pharsa, man, the Pharsa almost doesn't matter who gets the hand on the Pharsa. Even if the Pharsa loses, it's kind of not the reason why you lost.
Let me rewind about 2 steps back. I wouldn't panic and just say don't Yishin Shin anymore. Looking at game 1, watching that 10-minute game, I'd say just play tighter. Respect what your opponent brings to the table. And again, make better decisions. Kimmy, utility, which direction are we going? And even the side lanes, consider that. I think Liquid can be a little more respectful of Aurora going into game 2. And then maybe, just maybe if they lose that, that's when maybe you really decide to go 180.
Well, here's the thing, right? I'm thinking in the sense of tempo, timing, and item power spikes. Yishin Shin alongside with the Kimmy, we're expecting Kimmy to actually take the advantage with the Genius one, something along the lines of Feather, which is a little more unpopular, but it's an aggressive option in the lane. When we look at our top 5 heroes pick, it's Yishin Shin, Yishin Shin in 4th, 2nd is Claude, 1st is Pharsa, 3rd is Cho, and 5th is Sora. And when you look at the win rates, as we go up, you notice that the win rates take a little bit of a dip once we get to the Pharsa.
I mean, again, this is why I brought up where, yes, I know that the win rate isn't the highest, but again, if you're looking at the games, the Pharsa really is not the reason, right? Whatever the Pharsa's job is, control the mid, make sure that you give pressure to the side lane, do a massive amount of damage, Pharsa can do that, and I feel like as we mature towards the knockout stage, now teams are getting more comfortable and be like, we know how to draft around this Pharsa.
That's what I'm saying. You can let the Pharsa through, maybe less of the Eve, and then play from what ends up in the draft. So recalling the bans from game 1, Fanny Grok Eve for Team Liquid, nothing wrong with that. Aurora, Zushin, Hylos, Baksha, that might be the very specific move that Liquid have to think of. They know that they respect the Zushin. They know that they want to attack JP. They kind of attacked him too in the second phase by banning the Hilda. And they know that Kha'Zix is very good on the utility. So, thinking about that, where is the Lancelot? Where's the Hayabusa? Hayabusa took a dip after the knockout stage. That might be the tempo breaker.
Hayabusa is really interesting, right? Because again, if you want to create leads with Hayabusa, it's either the team has to kind of funnel it into you by setting up the perfect angle for the quad shadows, or you make plays in the side lanes opposite. You know, divide and conquer like we saw in game number 1 from Aurora Turkey, where they're sending in Pagu alongside with Rosa in 2 separate directions. And I think, unfortunately, with the way that the meta is turning out, with side laners being such a big importance alongside with the mid trio to control invasions, to put that brass tacks in the river, Hayabusa just doesn't cut it anymore.
Yeah, right now we're going to be looking at to pick our pass here. So if you're a Valentina, whose ultimate do you steal? Feda Airstrike or the Tsunami Slam?
On 3, ready? Whole name. 1, 2, 3.
Feda Airstrike. Yeah, there you go. I feel like, honestly, it really depends. Like, every single time you use a Valentina, right? If your opponent is a Valentina and, say, a Hayabusa or a, what you call it, Lance, something like that, and the Pharsa is being dealt with, say, a Lapu, a Yuzong. It's like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. I want to catch this assassin. But I feel like the most general trend, Feather Airstrike's pretty cool, so I might as well just take that.
9 out of 10 times it's going to be the Feather Airstrike.
Oh, and I feel like you can only really take the Tsunami Slam, like it feels good, if you're playing an EXP Valentina, because then at least you're tanky, yeah?
That too as well. It really depends on what position the Valentina is going to be in at the end of the day. But coming back into this game, I think we're going to start moving away from this Valentina once we deal with the big questions. Because so far, I think Oheb on Sora, not the worst, but I think I would like him to play more of the damage dealing style rather than the hard engages, because Sanford really knows how to take the initiative and absorb that pressure in comparison to Oheb, especially when Kalia is available, they just lock him down.
Going into the draft, I'd like for Team Liquid to reconsider staying blue. Even if they did lose in blue, again, a lot of the problems are repaired by choices you can still make from that position. So we're going into expanding rivers.
Again.
And this is how we begin. Yep.
Yeah, so
by taking out that Kalia.
Yeah, so Rivers again, Team Liquid is still on the first pick, Aurora is still on the second, and yeah, this time they're not banning out the Eve. The Eve is left open. It looks like they do prefer to get that Sora first. So now Aurora Turkey, this is the real question. Do you still prefer that Farsa now that the Eve is still open? It looks like the answer is yes.
Yeah. This is the... Well, I mean, they don't have access to Kalia anymore, so I still think it's going to be Leomore here for the side of Aurora first, and then we'll see the next two coming up from TL. Are they going to switch out the Yixin Shin and Yuzong, or are they just going to double down and say, now that Kalia's gone, we've solved all the problems? Hilda, alongside with the Yve. All right, staple picks.
Yeah, so right now, we can already see a change here, especially because if you have Carl Teasy in your lineup, I think it's perfectly fine to wait on his pick just a little bit because, again, there's a lot of assassins, and if necessary, he could use a utility. But now, Aurora, the last pick before was that Uranus. Now seeing the Eve as well as the Hilda, do they go with the same plan, or now do they adjust?
It's not as worth it. There was a Yusin shit to bother last game, confirmed in the Blue 2-3. That's why this Uranus was so good for Lunar. And I think that's right. You go for the flexible side laner, gold laner, XP laner.
And honestly, still good against the Eve, right? They want to make sure that the mid is won. So this is probably the game plan coming in from Aurora Turkey, where they want to make sure that the mid is well controlled. What do you think about this, Gideon?
I think that now that they've shown the EXP laner, as much as I want to agree with you about that mid lane, I think that's where Coach Archie is going to attack in the second phase, right? And then now this Sora becomes a more flexible option now that we do see the EXP Esmeralda from the side of Aurora, meaning this could be a potential Claude. I don't know if Aurora Turkey is going to ban out the Claude or whether or not they're just going to keep on with the Fredrin and getting rid of the rest of the junglers.
Yeah, right now, banning out the Fredrin here. If they really want to force Carl on an assassin, which, let's face it, he probably wants to go on the assassins as well, it's clever that Team Liquid, they are banning the Cho, they already have the Hilda. What other picks that they really want to respect here? And it's quite interesting that they ban out the Alice while the Lapu is still there, unless they want to quickly get the Lapu and just put Esme in go, but I don't know if you want to show your hand that fast.
Ooh, yeah, I think they would have to, if they do want to hold it, Game 3 would make a lot more sense, but it really depends on the result here. This final ban from the side of TL is probably going to take away somebody who can use Concussive Blast. I would assume that Gatot would probably be in this particular position here if I were to guess.
Gotta be another roamer.
It's gotta be another roamer, right?
Because Aurora will pick the last good roamer and then hide where the Esmeralda goes deep into Red 5.
Well, just a few seconds. It looks like they're banning the Claude instead. Probably considering they don't mind whatever roamer that is left for Pagu here.
Just not the Claude.
But to be fair, there are quite a lot of roamers already banned. You got the Grok, the Kalia, the Cho, the Hylos out of the picture. So yeah, there's not a lot of options. There's still the Gatot, there's still the Khalid. I'm not so sure if there's anything spicier. I think they've used the Minotaur before, but this does not look like a draft that Minotaur wants to go up against.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Especially since Minotaur's healing only gets relevant after you're able to get the flask. But prior to that, you're just kind of waiting. And even so, Gatot seems to be like the safest option for Aurora Turkey. And that way they can hold on, like Leo mentioned, hold up on the flexibility of this Esme.
Well, right now they do have to go for a pick here. The timer's down. And
wow.
Pretty sure this is a debut, and
yep, it's been months since we last saw Lucas.
This is creative. I don't know if it's just too creative.
So Lucas beats Sora in lane up until level 4. And even at level 4, there's still outplayability for both sides. It's a very volatile matchup. It's depending on which form Sora ends up going in. If he goes into iframes and is able to dodge the Biju Beast bomb, assuming that he's going for the Naruto skin, then I think that he can win this matchup. If it's against the Yasmine, it's a little less impressive, but even so, you just know that Aurora not only want to win lanes, but create opportunities for Farsa as well as Leomord to clean up shop.
By the way, gentlemen, quick stat check here for our casters as well. Farsa going up against Eve, it has been 5 games, and 4 out of that 5 games have been won by Eve. So as of right now, the Eve definitely has a bigger advantage. So now that the draft is set still here for a while, let's try the theory craft. Why have they picked up that Lucas? Like, what's the reason?
Because CC's open. So you kind of want the CC, quick throwback. Lucas is good against CC and Hilda, and they already locked in the Hilda, right? Gideon also mentioned how Lucas is good against the Sora, especially when the Sora overcommits to a certain style, right? So by doing this, Aurora has all the incentive in the world to be creative and introduce a new side lane hero that could shake it up. So what if? I think it's good. I think they deserve to pick this.
By the way, something that I want to bring up in the post game before is that I really want to praise the positioning of Rosa, because I feel like Aurora Turkey, they're able to get away with the draft that kind of has no appeal for their mid laner, because Rosa's positioning all throughout this competition has been phenomenal, despite being a Farsa going up against a Yuzong and whatnot. Really has not been touched all that much, and I feel like that's a big buff for the team where you're not having to babysit your mid laner.
Oh no, absolutely. But I think Brigidio put it best, right? It's about timing. It's about the timing of when you see these feathered airstrikes. Because even if I was in Sanford's position, chasing down Pagu on this Kalia initially and seeing him use the Tsunami Slam, I would already assume, where exactly is that Farsa? We last saw Rosa mid, and that was ages ago. I would still commit to the fight. The feathered airstrike just covers a lot of distance, making sure that angles can be cut off, even when it's basically outside of the boundaries of your screen.
Oh.
Claude ban, Alice ban. Does that mean that they go? No, if they go Uranus, they get the counter matchup.
Yeah.
They go for the Yuzong?
Yeah, that might be better, because Liquid is short on AoE crowd control. That's what the Alice would have brought in.
Yeah, so very interesting here. We will be verifying some stuff when it comes to the draft. We will see whether this Lucas is, I would say, legal or not. You know, some things happen on stage, but we're going to be discussing this without the Lucas for now. By the way, this is a good time to shout out to our marshals doing an incredible job making sure that all 10 players and the coaches on a stage is being treated fairly and make sure that everything is up to par. So now let's just forget about the Lucas for a while. TL, Leo, you've seen them draft before. The Sora is kind of new, but when they have a Hilda as well as a Eve, what kind of draft do they really want to go for? Do you want to go for a full dive, or it's just kind of like a 4-1 where one person being Carl Teasy just focus on the farm?
Nah, this is aggressive, and we don't even know where the Sora's going.
True.
We don't know if it's an XP Sora on Sanford or, you know, a go again with Oheb from game 1. So, assuming that this goes well, and looking at what Aurora has currently, Farsa, Leomord, Esmeralda, waiting on that red 4 pick. I think Liquid just wants to be aggressive. Liquid wants to pick up the pace and show everyone that, hey, game 1, that was an anomaly.
Wait, actually, yeah, now that I look at it, if this Lucas was changed to, say, Roamer, and then last pick, they could have gone for Valentina, because at that point you can see where the Sora is at. So that's why we wonder, okay, maybe something's happening,
Unconfirmed, but that sounds crazier than what we assumed prior.
Hey man,
that is just good against whatever's left out there.
We gotta take first impressions, right? And
I
honestly,
feel like when they have the Farsa, and you're like, I feel like Valentina, only Sunset Lover makes it look good in mid. But on the side, honestly, looks not bad.
I don't think it's that bad either. But at the same time, I'm very thankful that we have our marshals up on that stage, making sure that everything's done based up to protocol. You're probably wondering why it's taking so long, because there's a lot of things that need to be done. You got to verify with the opposing team, verify with your matches, elimination match, double check with the rest of the backend to make sure that what is being said is true. So many steps must be taken to ensure that it is competitively integral.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of Rome Lucas though. That would be
Rome
the worst
Lucas
thing. Yeah, no, not at all. That would be the worst thing for Aurora right now. The hero's just not built for that.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that we're not seeing a lot of assassin roams. Like the
Helkurts, Natalias.
Helkers, Natalia, Sabers. Because as fun as it is in ranked games, what is it, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the change of the roam, and then like Gideon, we have a friend that uses Kadita roam, and that was probably the easiest ranked session we've ever done, where we basically do nothing, and the guy still gets more levels than us just by staying in the bush and then killing people.
Oh yeah, that and
what was it?
There's one more, Selena Rome.
Yeah. I can. You know what? No. I just want either you're the toughest boy in school or you just have a lot of crowd control.
I don't want none of that flamboyant.
Healing is also kind of okay, but you know.
I mean, healing.
Miss Popoli Koopa Rome.
Hilda, I'm okay because of Minotaur.
Fair, fine. I can get behind that at the very least. But having CC is so important. But opening up the map, I think right now what we're missing from the game, and this is me just kind of going on to the M7 podcast mode here.
Yeah,
we need wards. We need ways to open up maps more consistently and something that is interactable, right? And I think wards would be a really good idea for supports.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that will soon be an activatable for, say, a roam item. Because before this, they did try it out with a spell, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's weird. People still prefer Flicker, which, yeah.
Facts. And you know what would be even better?
What would be even better?
It should be a blessing instead. So it's like you get wards, but you don't get a conceal.
But the thing is, how will the ward be designed? Because before this, they have a spell where basically the wards, they look out for targets, or did you just want to use like Selena? Okay, we're just gonna put something here, something here, something here.
I'm thinking more like Selena, and it's like you need to hit it like 3, maybe 4. Yeah, 4. Well, not charges, but 3 to 4 times before like it breaks. You know, you have to physically punch it.
Or
like Chip's Portal.
Yeah.
That was something that I was thinking of, because right now I'm actually do wonder what other mechanics can be introduced, because an upcoming hero is just a guy that freezes things. Yeah. Which honestly looks cool as hell, where you just trap one guy and everyone just shoots all their ults in that direction and be like, you know you're gonna die, just accept it.
Or how about this? Instead of having a map rotation, you have interactable things to fight over in the map, which changes the structure of that sector of the map.
Wait, what?
So let's say
like different turtles?
Well, maybe not different turtles. More so, hey, you're fighting over a little neutral objective. Fine. But if you pick up a particular rune and you want to go to one side of the map, hey, let's break open the walls here. Let's use it on this one.
Speaking of, the draft continues. Looks like the Lucas is locked in. And now TL, they fire back with a Valentina themselves, which means even the Valentina can turn into a beast. And they pick up the Yi Sun Shin. So now Aurora, now that they lock in this Lucas, first of all, where?
Yeah.
Old EXP roam?
No, gold or EXP. That's it. They just switch with Esmeralda. And they go roam Badang. I like this, but Liquid are playing a weird game of catch the Lucas. Where are they going to send that Valentina?
Yeah, I guess they might have to lane swap if they open up badly, if they get the guesses wrong. But I think importantly, this Badang is really good for 2 reasons. One, it's not only a great setter, but he has inbuilt anti-CC when you go for his ult. And I think, considering that Papu was able to use the Tsunami Slam to get away from Sanford earlier, I think he's got more tech in the bag.
Gentlemen, looks like Lunar will be piloting the Lucas, going up against Sanford on that Valentina. Already sensing one lane matchup has been lost. This is going to be a very interesting one, especially after the domination from Aurora. For now, we're going to be throwing it to our casters and see how they feel about this Lucas pickup.
I am very feel about the Lucas pickup right now. Now, okay, welcome to the Line of Dawn, folks, for game number 2. That's definitely going to be a good question to ask for the host later on. Doesn't matter who wins, right? That's a question to throw out. What do you think about the Lucas? What do you think, Brigida?
Initially, I would have felt that this could be an opportunity for Liquid to focus a bit more on Rosa and the potential shutdown. But given that there are so many fighters in this lineup, I feel like even with losing Rosa, they wouldn't be as hesitant to just keep on fighting. And we saw that happen already in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, we did the panel before was saying they weren't completely against it. So whatever ended up happening, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's a bad pick completely. Aurora Gaming, whatever their intention was, they need to definitely pull it together here. It's lower bracket, it's elimination. I still think they can play an aggressive game like what they brought last time. It just maybe needs to be approached differently.
Yeah, especially considering that if you do go all out or all in this lineup of Aurora Gaming, then you have a very high chance of making Team Liquid very uncomfortable, especially in terms of positioning. And we've seen Eves struggle when people just keep diving onto the Eve, especially when they use the real-world manipulation.
Yeah, interesting. It's a concussive blast, Lucas, by the way. So he's really just looking for tempo on the map as he clears up the wave. Tienzi with a good gank up top. I honestly thought it was going to be the Brave Smite, you know, especially because he's up against Sanford on the Valentina. Good take on the XP crap there, but also Pagu, pull yourself together. A very aggressive
Damage on a JP though, gets the pushback, forces out the flicker. Now this is about the same time last time. It took a couple minutes, but Aurora Gaming waited for about that 2-minute mark, and that's when they really started to make plays on the map. But look at the bot lane OHEB right now.
Yeah, we saw how important OHEB and his participation in the first few fights actually is. They need a bit more damage output, so his help would be greatly appreciated here. Pagu is also very low, so I guess this is a objective that will go straight over to Team Liquid.
There you go. It's a free turtle to Team Liquid. And Aurora Gaming really, now, I don't know, I don't want to assume here, but the Lucas ain't Lucasin right now, and in the 1v1.
I mean, it's literally Naruto versus Naruto right now. Lunar up against Sanford, and Sanford gets a Terrify, one more shot. Luckily, Lunar gets away, but watch for it.
Sanford.
Gonna go. Oh, he misses. Lunar, don't do it. Just chill.
Great reaction, though. Lunar knew it was coming as well. He flickered out the safety. Carl doesn't get the gank. It's not Naruto, Trex. It's Naruto Sage mode versus Naruto. Like,
oh, my bad.
Actually, it's
KMS Naruto versus Sage mode Naruto. But who's KMS?
Valentina is just better. I am you, but better right now, right? Whenever you get the ultimates, even the Sora versus Valentina matchup is like that.
So it's just such a huge anime fight that we are going to see constantly in the XP lane if we get to focus a bit more.
Oh, wow! 3-man RWM Rosa immediately taking out OHEB with the clouds under the tower a little too long. TNT actually able to get that kill, making it a decent trade. Rosa for OHEB, gold lane for mid.
Yeah, and look at Sigiboom, instant. Well, you don't get too much because you're an Esmeralda. But still, there's movement on the map, and yeah, that really shouldn't have been an okay trade for Aurora Gaming.
OHEB could have went out.
A lot of damage on a TNZ. The thing about the Hilda at level 4. Nice for that airstrike though, followed up by the falling Star Moon. JP might not be able to get away from this one. Pagu. Oh, the Fist Crack, and Sigiboom picks up the kill. Aurora Gaming trying to get back into this.
Tough. I guess even if he decided to go straight towards the nearest bush, the fact that he's being chased by an Esmeralda wouldn't really help. So there was no other way but to just get as far as possible as you can from Sigiboom and the chase. He kind of used his flicker in that previous fight though, so maybe Team Liquid could turn that into an advantage.
So let's talk about a little bit of what the panel were expecting coming into this matchup. Eve versus the Farsa, 4-1. Hold on, OHEB's gonna be ganked.
OHEB taking a lot of damage. Brought down OHEB once again, just able to get away. Sigiboom doesn't have the flicker to chase.
Happy Feet gets away. Actually, not really, no. He didn't really sidestep. He just used all the dashes in the kit, which you have plenty of. But back to the topic. Eve just has constant damage to pressure you. And the RWM!
Damage on Rosa. Rosa forced to use the flicker. Will be okay. Turtle goes into the hands of Team Liquid.
That immobilizes you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they're not going to go for the chase anymore, but that's already going to make such a huge difference for Liquid here. 2 consecutive objectives that went over to their hands. Kenzie? Oh, he still gets Barbiel though, but with that IMU unleash the beast. Sanford. He's going to take them 1v2.
Damage on a Sanford. Sanford able to bring out the blast on a Lunar. TNZ up against Sanford. Sanford bullying back 2 members on his own. And Pagu taken out off cam.
JP
looking for more. TNZ brought low. Carl TZ trying to lock on. JP in a bad spot. Carl TZ gets the Mountain Shocker. Lunar still will be able to get away though.
He's always
Sanford
alive.
For Sanford.
Okay.
OHEB under the tower with the shifting clouds. In comes TNZ. Feathered airstrike drops down from Rosa. Just trying to create space at this point. Sigiboom with the falling Star Moon onto OHEB.
Okay, now Sigiboom is trying to run away. Gets caught in the real world manipulation though. Fortunately, still has what it takes to survive. But yeah, honestly, the way that Liquid are playing this lineup so far has been really, really well. They've been coming in from the most unexpected angles. Now it's Sanford once again on the Unleash the Beast.
Ooh, on to the next target, but he's able to get back safely under the tower. But down goes Rosa. Sanford with the pickup.
All right. Now they're trying their best to deny all the resources. This is not what Aurora has been through in the previous game. Another Unleash the Beast.
They're going for it all in. Sanford picks up the kill. And it's Lunar down and return to tier 1.
A lot of damage on Apagu. We are back on the map. Sanford taking too much damage. TNZ picks it up. It's once again a bloodbath, a blow for blow as TNZ comes out on the steed, trying to create space. There's still one more turtle coming up soon.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but they get the purple because of that, and potentially even the next turtle. So this is a lead that is slowly growing in the hands of Team Liquid, and I guess that was something that they afford to lose. Sanford, who can just really be the guy to force those fights under turrets.
Yeah, perfect turtle, by the way, as well here. You can definitely see that Team Liquid, with the pressure that they have early on in the matchup, like the panel said, a confirmed win for Sanford versus Lunar. Oh, Phantom Steed from TNZ. You know, he was really trigger happy with the Phantom Steed in game 1, but that was when they were ahead. Now that they are behind, I'm not too big of a fan of this, and Carl goes over to Mountain Shocker. They want to gank Pagu.
Pagu gets caught by the Mountain Shocker, taken out. Another kill for Carl TZ. Rose with the stun onto JP, but here comes Sanji into the mid side. Aurora Gaming on the defense majorly right now. Sanford able to dash in, brings out the beast. Oh, drops the bomb onto Rosa. TL continue to dominate through this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was an opportunity for them and they missed playing these kinds of heroes, or Sanford missed playing the Lucas, but every single time, even if he sees 2 or 3 members, he's not afraid to go at them and bite a lot of Time Lord space for Liquid. Now they're on to TNC.
Oh, Sanji able to catch TNZ. TNZ might not be able to get a break. Oheb forced to use the winter crown. Lunar's waiting for him to come back. Lunar picks up the kill. Feathered airstrike from Rosa, but Sanford gets the Clarify onto Rosa. Carl TZ into the backside. JP jumps in as well, gets caught with a fist crack. Pushing Aurora back under the base, back under the tier 1 at that when there's still a tier 2 standing.
Yeah, so we're back to Team Liquid again, just holding their grounds. Yes, a few pickoffs here and there. Oheb hasn't had the best game so far. A random pickoff there in the mid lane, and then in the bottom lane getting caught. 0-2-0, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because the top side of the map is winning so hard. And yeah, it looks like Sanford's like, okay, every time I go and see 2 people, I go in, but there's no punish.
Yeah.
Ultimately, for this Valentina, who is better Naruto. I mean, JP is a better Leomord right now.
Okay.
He trying to push
Look at him.
back. Paku
He's going to be okay.
does have the fist crack here, but he's deciding not to use which I think is a good play. Up on the top side, though, for that airstrike comes down as Lunar gets caught off by Sanford. Carl TZ. A big bomb onto 3 members. JP now locking onto Pagu. As Lunar looks for Carl TZ in the back end. Can he chase him down? Oh, looking for the last hit, but no, Carl TZ catches him in a 1v1. You thought you had him. And now they're going to move on to the Lord.
And I guess that what shows you that it's fine that Oheb's been through this much. Even despite being on a 0-2, at least your main damage is okay. Carl TZ is very much farmed up. And by this time, now that we're reaching the mid-game, Oheb, he can just transition to being the guy to look for the additional setups, to be the guy to disrupt the formations of Aurora Gaming and start fights. Not that Sanford hasn't been doing it for the past few games, but with Oheb, it'll be a lot more impactful for Team Liquid.
Absolutely. It really just feels like Team Liquid have the better versions of Aurora Gaming's picks everywhere on the map. Sanji, oh, he gets away. They want all in.
Second, Sanji, they don't want to let him get away. TNZ looking for the pushback. Out comes the RWM with 2 members caught in, but TNZ finally finds Sanji. And now TNZ continues to unleash chaos onto the members, but Pagu's on his own. Carl TZ showed up to save the day as Oheb jumps under the tower. Rosa, one more tower shot, but it's not enough. A nice falling Star Moon lands on a JP, but Aurora Gaming are just trying to create space.
I am starting to get nervous whenever I see Oheb dive a turret, but fortunately he got out of that. Now this is an opportunity for Team Liquid. We are still looking at the Holy Shields available for Aurora Gaming, but with this much pressure at a 7k gold lead, they'll definitely take out some of that.
Again for Liquid, it's Sanford stealing away the ultimate, and now he's gonna go rampage with a Lord charge in.
Bird unleashes the beast once again, decides not to dive in, but in comes Oheb with a shifting cloud, does lock on to Siggy Boom, pushes them back, it's an all-in. Oheb falls, TNZ able to get the kill as Sanford continues to unleash chaos onto Lunar. Lunar back onto the base, Siggy Boom caught off. and Team Liquid only lose one.
RWM?
RWM onto Rosa. Feather airstrike stolen. Carl Teasy gets the kill.
Oh, that was a panic from Rosa. Pops into Feather airstrike right as it caught by the RWM, and now they have just one base turret.
TNZ help defend. Mountain Shocker does not land. Stanford to the backside, able to get the Terrify onto TNZ. Dashes in. Maybe caught into a bad spot. They're trying to stun him. One more tower shot. Stanford almost still standing.
3 base turrets, Team Liquid. They're pushing in. They're stomping through. They want to get revenge from game number 1. But I can't help but feel now it really looks like that pick, the Lucas, was a mistake. After, you know, the whole pause, waiting for it, and now seeing it just getting completely curb stomped. Look at the gaps between everyone. Again, Team Liquid just have the better versions of every pick of Aurora Gaming, right? It's the Valentina versus the Lucas.
Yeah.
It's Yi Sun-shin versus Leo Mort, in this case, with a Hilda, with a dangerous grass lane.
Okay. Speaking of,
Teasy should be able to get away from this. Rosa's trying to pincer him.
Oh
my God, Carl Teasy! He goes down, but he takes Rosa with him, and in comes Lunar. Sanji, JP, along with Sanford, want to lock on to Pagu here. Pagu's going to bite the bullet as Aurora Gaming lose 2 for Carl Teasy.
And that's actually so value for Aurora Gaming, actually, right? Like Rosa 0-4 earlier, Pagu was 0-3, now they're 0-5, 0-4, so no bounty at all for a 7-0 Carl Teasy, and they delayed the game a bit more because I don't think Liquid can actually blitz the Lord. Yeah, unless Sanford like goes in 2v1, wins it again, then sure.
yep. Not for now. They will buy a bit more time, but they can still afford to be the guys just pressuring Aurora and not allowing them to get out too much. They want to fight!
In the Thunder mode, gets a lot of damage on a Siggy Boom, comes in, more damage on a Tansin, Steed comes out, that airstrike drops down. Sanford in the back line, just pushing Aurora Gaming away. We didn't have Carl Teasy, but they didn't need him at the time.
Yeah.
Carl Teasy is like an errand boy right now. It's like, go get Lord. Well, we got this game already.
Yeah, look at where he is right now while Liquid are marching with a minion wave down bottom, just making sure Aurora don't get any close. And that's the Lord immediately over to their side, but they might actually try to go for something. Hopefully just not something similar to the last siege, because those are, I think, 2 consecutive mistakes that Aurora were able to capitalize on, which brought us to this point of the game.
Yeah. They still have a Lord in mid, they have the waves coming down as well, so they can just play it slow right now, but they're actually constantly shoving in, so mid lane will be getting into the base quicker than the side lane. So again, Aurora Gaming actually still have a chance to defend this.
No feathered airstrike just yet for Rosa. As Lord comes in, TNZ brings out the Steed, tries to get the push back onto JP. Down to the boss side, Siggy Boom gets caught. Onto Carl Teasy, trying to get him. Siggy Boom, Lunar there as well. The bomb misses, and now Sanford's in the midst. Lord onto the base. Oheb up against 4. Sanji, Sanford want to try to close the gap.
A really good job from Aurora Gaming at trying to focus on Carl!
Nice fist crack, but Sanford able to flick back along with Sanji. They're going to go look for the re-engage. Carl Teasy shows up as well. The Phantom Steed comes out and Sanford continues to shoot. Oheb down.
Carl gonna be caught with Feather Airstrike. Rosa!
Carl Teasy taken out. Sanford as well. Aurora Gaming trying to turn this game around. It's JP and Sanji are the last ones standing.
Team Liquid! Where is the discipline? They shoved in constantly. We were already talking about it. Aurora had a chance because Team Liquid didn't want to clear the waves in a way where it'll crash together. They cleared everything at once. Mid lane came in, Aurora cleared it out, yet Team Liquid still wanted to fight. And what's going on with Oheb, man? The first 3 deaths should have been a warning.
You gotta respect, you gotta be mindful. There's just so much ways for Aurora to go for the counter engage. We haven't seen the full potential of the Badang just yet from Pagu. That was just a single fist break that caught members of Team Liquid and forced them to finally run away. We're gonna take a quick look at the instant replay there. That definitely was a bit too extended of a Lord Siege attempt that we saw from Liquid. And this is the fist break, fist crack combo that we were talking about. Forcing out multiple flickers, yet Liquid still wanted to fight. But the most questionable of all was Oheb still standing under that despite taking the turret shots. And Carl Teasy, this is the point where you have to respect the damage from Rosa.
You do, right? Like, he was 0-5. For the most part of this game, it was kind of like an irrelevant farsa, but once we get to a certain point, he's gonna start to hurt, and I think this is the point right now. Gee, he's level against Sanji. He was so behind the entire game. I'm telling you, that shutdown on Carl, that was big for the team because they were able to buy more time for Rosa to get to this point. For Sigiboom as well. Holy crystal! Starlium side. This is more of a damage dealing Esmeralda than a tank.
Yeah. Carl TZ might want to be a bit more careful in terms of where he decides to show himself. Sigiboom will definitely go for the chase. Or maybe that's also why Liquid are deciding to try and take down Sigiboom first, because they know he's not fully tank. So they have a bit more capabilities to burst him down if they wanted to. But the way that the game's showing us, it's not exactly that. Sigiboom, despite this build, is actually a bit more of a problem for Liquid. JP though, wow. That damage.
Yeah, luckily no flicker used by Rosa. That would have been real bad. But you can already see, again, Hilda's kind of broken, you know? You can't just walk up like that. You need Pagu to help you, or you need to just form, but they're sneaking it!
A lot of damage though onto Oheb. Shifty Cloudsy is able to get away. Lord goes over to Carl TZ, but Oheb brought low with the fist crack. Tienzi able to find it. They jump onto Sanji. Sanji has to disengage. Carl TZ has to disengage with Lunars in the backside. The bomb misses, but a few more shots. Can he get the kill? Sanji finally falls. Sigiboom on top of Carl TZ. Aurora Gaming don't want to give up.
The magic damage Esmeralda Sanford!
He takes out Lunar. But Sanford, it's now a 2v2. Pagu, TNZ up against JP and Sanford. Where is Sigiboom right now? He's got to get involved into this. The falling Star Moon is not there, but he's able to lock onto Sanford here. JP and Sanford have to back off as Aurora Gaming go back to defend the base.
They're doing so much to hold down this game. But speaking of holding down members, they have no ways to stop Sigiboom, Pagu, and Tienzi when they decide to go for the chase. Sanford, he has a job. He is the guy expected to zone out the other members. But when Aurora Gaming decides to commit on Carl, on Sanji, who is going to be there to protect them?
That's a good question. Team Liquid Philippines might be the final boss of M7, but in Game 2 of Team Liquid versus Aurora Gaming, Sigiboom's the final boss, bro. You gotta get past him. And how do you do it? Carl TZ and Sanji, one falling Star Moon got them to half HP, dude. And now he has to win a crown. Let's take a look at the replay again to see exactly what happened. So again, it's Oheb trying to buy some time, but they already got the Lord here, but then they got caught by the flanking Pagu, and then look at the damage. Look, half HP straight.
Yep.
From the falling Star Moon.
Yeah, and the flickers from Lunar. Fortunately, the shockwave blasts don't land just yet. But look at that, even this falling Star Moon, last minute.
Hold on. Oh, this is the replay still.
Yeah.
This is
Calm down. I know there's a lot of action.
I understand, I can feel it.
We're getting overloaded with plays right now. Luckily, they actually didn't fight during the live view and then the replay, because that will be even more confusing. But hey, maybe, you know what, maybe we're wrong. Maybe Naruto isn't that bad.
He always shows up.
Was that Talk No Jutsu?
That was Talk No Jutsu.
Was that Date Bayo?
Talk No Jutsu. With
Do you believe it?
With the,
I heard something.
Maybe they did, yes, you're right. So they failed to Talk No Jutsu, and now it's Believe It.
Now it's Believe It.
Believe it.
Better believe it.
Oh, man. So, Oheb, right? Like, what does he have to do next? What's the adaptation now? Because it really feels like he's just been off of his game completely.
To be fair, I think this is the point where you rely on the Sora more for the setups. Although, if he hasn't been as successful in those setups, especially in catching Rosa, because I feel like Rosa is going to be the main target here, then they can potentially consider other ways to deal with this. He can still be somewhat of a finisher. He can be also using his crowd control skills to be the guy to maybe protect Sanji and Carl, because you can't expect Sanford and JP to do that anymore, because if not, then they'll have all the other members of Aurora Gaming just going at them all at once.
My lord. Aurora taking control. Oheb, oh my god!
Walks right into it. Tienzi does use the Phantom Steed. That might have been a little bit too early. Lord is out. Aurora Gaming forced to delay even more.
It already made it out the ult from Oheb as well, though, so it's fine right now, right? Tienzi, at this point of the game, Phantom Steed is going to be up by quite a bit. It's like pretty low cooldown compared to when it was very easy to bait it out in the mid game, in the early game. What did you spot out? Did you spot something out, Trex?
Yeah, Sigiboom's health bar is all shield.
Oh, yeah. Half. And then the Blood Wings.
Like that. Just walks around like that regularly.
This guy, bro.
Sigiboom woke up like this.
Yeah. That's what all of them say. Winter Crown, he sold out the boots, so now it's like, even if you target him, you can't. Oh my god, they're gonna try it, aren't they? Mounted Shocker revealing them.
Oh, wait.
I honestly feel like Sigiboom could have just taken it like a good boy and been like, yeah, no, you're not gonna kill me. Because now he used the flicker. Do you think he was that vulnerable? Do you think he needed to flicker that Mounted Shocker?
No.
I think he just got a little nervous.
Yeah, because you see so many people chasing after you at that point, and there's a Lord, so you at least want to make sure you're alive by then, because you never know what time it's gonna spawn when Liquid decides to take it for themselves. But now there's really good positioning on the map from Aurora Gaming, and I'm looking particularly at Rosa.
This is a crazy position to hold as a Farsa, and he used the wings by wings to get there, dude. So it's like, it's all in or nothing. Sigiboom holding this angle again. That's gonna be a turret for free, it seems. No, yeah, Sigiboom rotates.
Aurora Gaming is macroing with no towers right now. Can we just talk about that? Because they're winning top lane with no inhibitors.
You know why, Trex? This is the reality of having one marksman in your composition and then full fighters, right? Your sieging isn't really that good. It's not good at all. That's why, again, for Team Liquid, staying there when they had the Lord was all right. But after the Lord died, staying there was kind of like a death sentence. They were waiting for a moment for Aurora Gaming to actually get, you know, a big pick with Pagu, a big set, or maybe even pokes from Rosa to ultimately shoo them away. But it ended up being everything. So they had to really step back. And now Team Liquid can't even do what they've been doing all the way from the start, like going for the blitzes, because it's an Evolved Lord. You can't blitz that without a Lunox here, without a carry. It's Carl and Sanji on Yi and Shin, and don't have enough damage to really tank or blitz an Evolved Lord.
Though.
Huh?
Oh, they're setting up so much
Out Shocker! Plus the shifting clouds, Oheb trying to make the play, but in comes Rosa once again with a feather airstrike, and Sigiboom is still standing. And Immortality does pop Sanji.
Oh my god.
But he's unable to catch enough. Sanford locks in the backside, but he's unable to catch just yet. Lunar pops the winner crown. Carl Teasy gonna get the final hit, but wait, no, Lunar does finally drop.
Now it's gonna be Pagu very low. Rosa in the back line gonna be handled by Sanford.
Pagu now has to watch his friends fall. Sigiboom there as well with the falling star, trying to lock on to Sanji, but it's just not enough. At this point, the full team wipeout will happen, and Team What? Will finally take the dub. Carl Teasy with the savage.
Ice cold winner crown from Team Liquid.
We thought they weren't prepared to fight back, but Aurora Gaming found themselves surrounded by the cavalry. Liquid took on that fight, even though we thought they were just trying to set up before the objective. But they were equipped. The Unleash the Beast from Sanford, the entries from JP and Carl Teasy managing the jumps, the dives from Sigiboom. Everything eventually worked out so well for them.
It worked out in the end, but man, we gotta say, that was a very messy game. I don't know if Team Liquid are actually proud of that performance against Aurora Gaming, but a win is a win. They'll be going through this, and Aurora Gaming, despite that, despite the fact that they were able to prolong the game so well, they still look frustrated as hell. They still look like, so was it a mistake? Now that's the big question I gotta throw back at the panel.
I mean, at this point, the world may never know. What I do know is it's 1-1. Carl Teasy just got his second Savage in M-Series history. But I will agree with how chaotic it was even hard to notice what was happening before our eyes.
Yeah, I think a lot of the chaos though came from the miscalculations of Liquid, especially Oheb, which I think was a huge question mark for us throughout the entirety of this game, and I would want to see that same thing happen in the next few games.
Yeah, here as well, man. They went all in again, but Sigiboom, he had to go in. I think the mistake wasn't really in this position. I think the mistake was the initial fight, right? Like, why and how did that fight actually start? It was TL holding that angle, but they didn't need to push in all the way there to try to get pressure. A lot of questions, again, going to be sent to our panel here. So, Lafel, Leo, Gideon, what do you have for us?
So let's just assume the Lucas pick was a cheese pick that just didn't work out, right? Despite that, it was actually much closer because Aurora, even with the cheese pick, they were able to just play their fundamentals, understand how to protect the base, and then eventually try to do something crazy like building more damage on the Esmeralda. And I would say to their efforts, it was close. Like, you can see semblance that they could have done it, but at this point, a loss is a loss. Back to the drawing board, go to game 3. But what are your thoughts watching that game?
Real talk, this game went about 5 or 6 minutes too long. No matter how that Lucas was come to, whether or not it was cheese or something else entirely, Team Liquid played it still very loose, very aggressive, and I rarely do this, but Oheb is my baby brother. This is one of those games where he goes, and then just goes back and resets. Honestly, there's a lot of things that Liquid have to figure out. This isn't a win that they should look back at and said, save for Carl. This is Carl TZ's record second Savage on an M Series stage, tied now with Hiko.
Pretty wild to see how aggressive these teams play. Pretty wild seeing so many Savages here already at M7. We usually don't even break the first one and only expect it to happen later down the line in the tournament, but we've already seen a decent amount here at M7. But I will agree with you. I definitely think that Ohad had a couple of moments there, but even so, the rest of the team, especially for JP, opening up the map the way that he did, and more importantly, was actually able to block projectiles when it mattered.
Yeah, right now we're going to be looking at the MVP by the official gaming phone, Realme, and it's going to be Sanford 6-3 and 7. Can I just say one thing? I like that I live in the world where Valentina has the highest win rate when she's played in EXP. I love when we have a justifiable reason to say, I want to play Mage in the EXP.
Yeah, much higher than if she was in mid, because this is instead of a reactive or a counter pick, it literally is the Apex Predator in the EXP lane when you pick it against the likes of Aurora, the likes of Lucas here very specifically. And I like how Sanford himself played it a little differently from when we last saw it, like let's say in the hands of Kid Bomba. That was almost all tank. Here, he reintroduced a little bit of the Glowing Wand, a little bit of the Winter Crown, which could have been a juggle item. But for the majority, it's still just items that keep him in the fight.
Keep you in the fight for as long as possible. Really take advantage, right, of Lucas's transform, unleashing the beast the way that he does. Because if you look at him right now, he's already holding back 4 members of Aurora in these highlights alone. But when Sanford, alongside with all getting a little too overconfident, then there are moments of struggle. Because as we see, TNZ and Rosa are the main ones who want to be the damage dealers. But if they get hurt by disruption, a lot of their abilities are kind of null and void.
Yeah, and honestly, looking at this game, again, I feel like Aurora played as best as they can with this kind of draft. It's just that something that they really have to be careful of. Like, you can't make any mistakes, even outside of game, right? Even the drafts.
There's a saying that there's no such thing as perfection, only the pursuit of it. And here, they really tried. They really climbed up that mountain, which is, again, possibly the Everest of situations against a team like Liquid with a draft like this, which, again, is short on #1 vision. They have to really peek into every single brush, and you're going up against a Yisishin lineup, you're already losing that. Second, you don't have the best scaling, right? Look at this. Who do you rely on in the late game? Sigiboom?
Yeah.
Sure, half of his health bar was white. It was all shields, but Liquid found that window, and I'll tell you now, it wasn't even that hard. It was impressive, yes, that Aurora were playing macro out of their base with no turrets, but this was the inevitable. There really wasn't much they could do.
But again, like, you know, shout outs to Sigiboom actually thinking like, I gotta carry. Like, that's a mentality that a lot of gold laners have, and I feel like it is very brave for Sigiboom to just transition into more damage items, even getting the Holy Crystal, in fact, having 2 Holy Crystals, hoping that, please God, can I just one-shot the entire team? And hey, if he did it, maybe they could have won. So, all in all, shout-outs as a gold laner, you have that mentality like, I gotta carry. I at least have to try.
Yeah, he at least has to try, and you saw that there were definitely moments of glory of chunking people down from 50% of their HP with a single falling star moon, and it's not like he max charged it as well. Sometimes he just tapped it to get on top of his targets. Overall, I think that Sigiboom played an okay game, but these 2 compositions are based off the linchpin of their jungler and mid laner. If both of them die, I think that Aurora would have been in a much better position. The problem is their comp works in the exact same manner. So if they lose TNZ or Rosa like we saw in that final fight, the side lanes don't have enough when Carl TZ is still there to provide that consistent level of damage. If, let's say, we take out TNZ, Rosa, Carl TZ, and Sanji, I'm pretty sure Sigiboom, with the build that he was going for, outscales the rest of TL.
And that's where a majority of Aurora's eggs were, per se, in this basket that is game #2, which is why it went way too long. Because even in that gold lane, there's no good reason for that matchup or that situation to ever happen. That's why Count Easy only died like, what, 2 or 3 times? Because again, the rest of Liquid were trying to pick fights. And sure, JP were flushing them out, but what it looked like on the map and as a macro and an MPLPH fan is like, the dad of Liquid are just corralling his kids. Hey, boys, no rough play.
Shout out to Sanford doing the most damage, and took the most damage out of everyone from TL and Aurora. So definitely worthy of that MVP. As a Valentina EXP, a bit of a hybrid, but more tankiness, doing the most damage, took the most damage. Yeah, at this point, Munton needs to readjust and just say that, okay, it's a mage slash fighter question mark at this point. We don't know. But yeah, as of now, it is the score 1-1. So at least we can say that for either side, whoever wins this one, it's not going to be a sweep. And I got to say the knockout stage, that's one of the best things that we can really have. We're just going to be giving a little bit more time for our players to get ready because we're going to actually throw it over down bottom with our host to see what's really going on. And down there, host, your turn.
Thank you very much to our panel. Hey guys, this is Rose and oh my, the first elimination match of the day is so intense. So many things has already happened. We've seen the first Lucas pick, this M7, and of course, the third Savage, this M7, and also Carl Teasy's officially second Savage throughout his career in the M series. But of course, to kind of tame the intensity just a little bit, I am talking with a friend I met back in M6, and this time around, he is back in the M7. Over here, we have Fuego from the Philippines.
Hello everyone, I am Fuego, a content creator in the Philippines.
How are you? It's been so long since I've seen you.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here, and I feel very happy with the match results as well.
Fuego, can I just say, compared to M6, oh my, you look really good.
Yeah,
what have you been up to?
Yeah, because actually it all started with the summer campaign in the Philippines where I challenged the Philippine community. If I win the battle emote, Kaya pa ba? For those who have that emote, shout out to you guys. If I win that, I will lose some weight. And yeah, I already lose like 30 kilos right now.
30 kilos?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And you know what? Health is wealth as well.
Yeah, I'm very happy and healthy right now.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Now, Fuego, let's talk about this series. We are game 2-1-1.
Yeah.
It's been intense so far.
Very intense.
Very intense, right? But how do you feel watching TL actually wrap up game 2 like that?
Actually, I am confident. I'm so sorry, but I am confident that Team Liquid is gonna win this match for sure. Because if there's a team in the Philippines who can really dominate the lower bracket, it is Team Liquid.
Okay, since you're saying that you're very confident that Team Liquid can dominate the lower bracket, Aurora is already waiting in the grand finals. Fuego, are you saying that you are 110% confident in seeing a PH grand finals?
Yes, I am hoping to see that as well.
Oh my. I think that's gonna be very interesting.
Yes.
But I also feel like we have to give credits to Aurora Turkey.
Yes, because they are very strong.
Yes, indeed. Did Game 1 surprise you? Because honestly, Game 1 surprised a lot of us.
Yes, they dominated Game 1. And even fought a hard fight in the Game 2 as well.
Yes, indeed. Now, Fuego, now that Aurora Gaming Philippines is already waiting in the grand finals, how are you feeling about that? Were you excited yesterday?
Actually, I am very happy to watch Aurora Gaming win yesterday because for those who do not know, their coach Dexter is my friend. So, and I am very happy for him and for the team because it is actually their first time to reach the grand finals in the international championship.
Yes, indeed. Aurora Gaming Philippines has come such a long way compared to M6 back in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. You know what, Fuego, as we wrap up this interview, perhaps is there any words of encouragement you'd like to give to the players who are still contending in this tournament?
Because I'm talking to my fellow Filipino, can I speak in Filipino as well?
Go ahead, I'll translate it.
So, Aurora, ito na yung chance nyo na ipakita sa mga tao kung sino kayo na hindi kayo choker, for sure. At yung mga fans natin dyan, wag muna kayo mambash. Supportahan muna natin ang ating mga kapwa Pilipino. And as well, Team Liquid, ipakita nyo kung sino kayo. You dominate the game. Tayo ay Pilipino. Pilipinas lang malakas ngayong M7.
Okay, he said that to Aurora Gaming, it is time to show the world what you guys are made of, and you guys are not just mere chokers, as what netizens would label them. And of course, to the Filipinos, let's tame on the bashing because we still have the Filipino representatives fighting here in the M7 series. And of course, to Team Liquid Philippines, show them what the Filipinos are made of because Pilipinas lang, malakas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rose.
And with that, let us show it back to the panel to get Game 3 started. Who will take this game? Only time will tell. Let's show it back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Rose. And yeah, losing a lot of weight does help with your health. But now we got to talk about this matchup coming up because, yes, a lot of confidence for Team Liquid, again, being the final boss. It is to be expected. But Aurora Gaming, they are looking very close. It does feel like, at least for Aurora, they just need to adjust maybe like 1 or 2 things. And then I feel like they're back on track. So what do you feel like should be the change here, Gideon? Like, what do they really have to make sure that they don't mess up again?
I think the biggest change that they need to have, put Pagu on something else, something that can actually affect how they interact in the 2v2 and fight for priority. Because on that Badang, he has to take a more passive approach. And yes, he can try and keep up with the rest of the team by using Concussive Blast to help out his boy Rosa to move just as quickly, but it's about the first move. It's not about following up to try and keep up with it. First move always wins.
If I may add, it seems like that mid trio is set. I'm not even going to tell you anything. Don't change Rosa, don't change Pagu's, don't change TNZ's approach to the game. I might need a little bit of a tempo break for the side laners. I want Lunar to win going into game number 3, and I want Siggy Boom to kind of ease it out. Because again, this is not the carry meta for the gold lane. The only few carries we have are really what? Claude and Harith. Range has been kind of struggling. So if I may, have Lunar win the draft in game number 3, then maybe Aurora kind of get their feet back into this.
Yeah, I kind of feel like for picks like a Granger, it's really draft dependent. It's not something that you can just pick up and then hope you get all of your pieces because, yeah, I kind of feel like Granger as well as Curry is not having the best of time in M7. But again, Hiko made it work, but it is really draft dependent. And now, speaking of what's going on here, for you guys at home, you guys can actually get a lot because you guys can go over to Fairy Games app. It is the place where you guys can create as well as host a 1v1, MLBB 1v1 with your friends, colleagues, parents, and uncles, and esports club members. You guys can stand a chance to win the M7 Tribute Rings, the MLBB Diamonds, and of course, new MLBB skins. Make sure you guys download the Fairy Game app now and register your MLBB ID to start playing. Again, a lot of prizes there, so make sure you guys get on that one. And speaking of skins, we do have one skin for you guys, and this is pretty easy to get. All you got to do is log in. Now, which skin I'm talking about is actually the Edith's Verdant Knight skin. Very simple, log in 30 days.
Yep.
And then that's it. There's literally nothing more. Log in 30 days, you guys can get the new Edith Verdant Knight skin. That's it.
Yeah. It's as simple as that, a simple sign-in. Goodness, I wonder sometimes whether or not they're going to be able to give codes for these, but at the same time, we need to see dedication from those out there for the Verdant Light. Dear God, does it look good?
Yeah, and we're talking about skins. Leo already told us he already got the new Gato Kacha skin by actually getting all the way to level 45 in the MS7 pass because that he got the new Solar Spark skin, and Rick said it's amazing, and I'm guessing you're saying it's amazing. So make sure you guys log in, play the game, get levels hopefully up until 75, so you get all the free goodies that the M7 Pass has to offer. And now with all that being said, I thought, you know, it's a bit here and there when it comes to the M7 World Championship in rank. It's absolutely amazing. Now, you were talking about Pagu there, Gideon. Now, for Leo, Team Liquid, is there something that they also got to make sure to lock in, not to make a mistake so that Aurora doesn't end up getting match point for Game 3 here?
Play better. This is not the Liquid playstyle that we know. There is no golden road to be achieved if you don't stampede through the way you have been the past couple of years. Game 1 and Game 2, I'll tell you now, is not their MO. This is not the usual play style that we can expect from Liquid. So I'm not even going to touch the draft. Coach RC, Coach Tic Tac, go wild. You guys have done very little wrong. Maybe save for game one. Game one, you know, those lane matchups could be better. But I think it's more on the boys. I think it's more of a tighter play and better decisions from minute to minute.
I agree that they need to have tighter play because discipline was a really big issue, especially when you're going into really awkward times. But in terms of the draft, I think winning lanes make the most sense for them. Oheb getting this first pick Sora every single time is doing a lot of work to deter not only the Claude, but at the same time threatening Rosa consistently throughout Game 1 and as well as Game 2. Rosa, unfortunately, taking a lot of beating in match number 2, and that's an adjustment that they need to be aware of. That's why I'm leaning more into, hey, Pagu needs to have something like Khalid, right? Something that has playmaking capabilities, while at the same time supporting Rosa in moving out of that lane first. Don't forget, redeem the code up on that screen while you still can.
2RYQSUWJJ. For people who don't want to read, I dictated for y'all. You're welcome.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you. As always, please log in and quickly input the code and enjoy a random skin trial. Think fast, because that won't last. Anyways, come back into this game. I will say that at least for the side of Liquid, I would imagine that Sanji is having a harder time than he probably would have liked because Sigaboom is kind of on him nowadays, right? In Game 1, we saw a very similar aspect with Claude. In Game 2, even the Esmeralda, he was like, man, yo, Carl, don't jump on top of me. We both get hit. This game's over.
And I think these gold laners are on different spectrums. They're on polar opposites of their responsibility levels. Sigaboom is so locked in. Oheb needs to reel himself back. He's played Sora both games, and he's played very loose with it. I don't know if it's a matter of the rest of the team just saying, all right, Oheb, just do your thing. You know how a Sora works. You know what to do with it. Or if it's him on purpose going out into the world, meaning into the loving arms of Aurora, suffering half a dozen deaths. I think he can do better to take care of himself, and this is coming from the best place is because it's not making the most of that powerful pick.
I mean, it's a powerful pick, but skirmishing is such a powerful tool to have when you're probing your opponents for battle spells, right? 90% of these fights, how do they survive? I still have Flicker. I flickered at the right time. Take away that Flicker, look for another fight later down the line, and you get a game similar to game number 2. Consistent skirmishes, consistent trades, as we've seen for the past 2 games.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are jumping into the draft of game number 3, and this time it is going to be Flying Clouds. And Aurora is going to be the first pick, this time on blue side. Team Liquid is second on the red. But looking at the drafts here, at least in terms of the ban, it hasn't changed just yet. For Team Liquid, they still don't want to see a Fanny or a Grok.
Don't think that that's ever going to change. But now they're also getting rid of the Hylos. Pretty similar bans overall. Now, I want to see if TL is going to commit to it, or whether do we see a slight adjustment here on the red side, right? And there we have it. The Leomord finally leaving Claude wide out in the open, and honestly Sora as well.
Well, looks like the Sora is going to be the first pick. Make sure that Team Liquid doesn't have it. But again, you gotta be careful because Sanford showed he can play a mean Valentina. I just hope TL doesn't flex it in mid. I know Sanji can use it. It's just that against range, because probably Aurora is going to pick up that Farsa, unless, of course, Team Liquid just takes it now. You know, Farsa Joe looks pretty good.
Looking back at the history of Aurora, they play the Sora more in the EXP lane. Only recently did Sigaboom start to play it.
Something that you have to keep in mind. Wow! Farsa Fredrin. I didn't think we'd see the Fredrin this early on. I really thought we were going to see a roam pick first.
I think these decisions by Team Liquid are coming from the fact that if they put Carl DZ on a Yi Sun-shin, the rest of them just go into this mode of, all right, let's go fight. We have full vision, let's go fight. This keeps them a little closer, a little tighter, turning them into a technical counter attack boxer, which is better, which is more applicable to Team Liquid now since Aurora are not afraid to fight.
EV is open, by the way. I wonder if they want to pick it up here. Again, I think the last game make it so that Eve looks much better, but I think that one is, you got to put into context. But looks like they're not going to be picking it up. They're picking up the CC as well as the Kalia. I can kind of understand the CC because going up against Team Liquid probably going to be a heavy front line kind of lineup. CC does okay, but yeah, this doesn't mean that they're not going to be having the Eve, which makes you wonder what is going to be the pick for Rosa here.
It's a crazy flex in blue. First phase, mind you, you still don't know which is going into which lane, so the whole find the Sora still doesn't work as easy, so they'll roll the dice, pick the Claude, because clearly there's no room for the Freya anymore, and they take out TNZ's picks. There goes the Harley. Would not be surprised if Red 5 ban was a Guinevere.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of when Aurora Takeo was taking on SRG. These two picks of Sora and CC was very frustrating to deal with, so inevitably they would either ban it or steal it away from them. Similarly to facing off against TL, I feel now they could have kind of pivoted. They could have like gotten the same comp just a little bit later down the line and kind of open up options for that Yi, because now what do they do exactly against the Fredrin, right? You send the CC up forward, all of a sudden the Feather Airstrike is going to deploy, you might get blasted out of Oblivion, you might have to use a Vengeance early on, and I think that now that TL has gotten a good read, hey, let's get rid of the probers. No more Harley for you. I'm pretty sure Leomord has already been banned out as it is in the first phase, leaving us with what?
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to stop you guys there just a little bit because look at that. We have the Fandom War. So you guys in chat, make sure you guys let us know who is going to be winning this one, TL or Aurora. When it comes to the numbers, looks like TL is looking a much higher now, 689 against Aurora's 297. Which again is to be expected, but hey, we want to see more from the Aurora fans. Now TL, they do ban out the Yi Sun Shin, probably guessing they're A-okay going up against the Eve, considering they do have the Claude.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff because Aurora has a significant lack of damage in the later phases of the game. I'm feeling like Aurora might have to position themselves for a Lilia, just to maybe have a secondary way actually, to poke out the Fredrin in these neutral situations. Maybe even a Guinevere pick up, but then you really have to double down on not Guinevere utility, but Guinevere full damage.
Right now I'm just worried that in terms of the damage, right? If they go for the Guinevere, they kind of really have to hope whatever hero that Rosa picks up can really carry the early to mid, because you're going up against the Fredrin and the Farsa. I feel like your early game is going to be abysmal. Like Aurora can go for something, say a Boxia, right? Just to kind of like match tank for tank. But again, not enough damage in the early.
Yeah, no. If they're not going an Assassin, they can go for utility and then put up a Lunox, or is Zetian even worth trying?
I feel like Lunox is worse. I feel like Lunox is pretty good.
Lunox might be better. A utility plus Lunox, that's fine.
But Rosa really has to play a perfect game, which to be fair, has been pretty good in the knockout stages here. Team Liquid 10 seconds in. Looks like they're going to be locking in the Cho. So a lot of pick-off opportunities right now in TL. It looks like they're not disrupted at all in their drive. It seems like they're getting everything that they wanted.
Yeah, I think neutral objectives are going to be really fun to watch between both teams because there's a lot of ways to outplay the other. Now, the question being, what is going to bridge that early to mid? Are they still going to go back to the Eve? Are they going to have something to be able to kind of poke out the frontliners up the side of TL? Or are they just going to back away? Because I think doubling down on the poke just makes a lot of sense when you have a CC on your side. You're already running double fighters. They're going to be probing anyways. You might as well get some value.
I think they need the burst. The real-world manipulation from Eve, despite her kit being very good, doesn't provide what the rest of the lineup is asking for. So I'd go Lunox because it has a good matchup against the Farsa, good stats. So utility plus Lunox.
Zetian and Hayabusa?
Okay, Assassin and Hayabusa. Assassin and Zetian.
Yeah. I kind of feel like what Aurora is aiming for is win out the lanes, make sure Zetian can deal with the Farsa, both CC as well as Sora can deal everything by themselves, giving space for TNZ and maybe keep on ganking one lane. But when there's a Fredrin and then there's an Arlet, and a Cho, you kind of don't want to go in a fight.
I think this is a draft mistake. They should not have gone for the CC that early on, and this is causing a lot of problems now that you're playing an Assassin into not only the Way of the Dragon, but also Fredrin on top of that. You basically don't scale without a Sky Piercer. He's put themselves in a corner.
This is what a Stampede looks like. Liquid loves their crowd control. They love a reliable gold laner. The burst on Sanji. I think Liquid have found themselves again.
Casters, Aurora took a pretty big, I would say, risk here. So let's see how the games turn out with our casters.
It all comes down to how they executed the Lanadon, and the risk pays off because, hey,
5 seconds.
it's game number 3 in the Lanadon we go. This is the battle for match point between TLPH and Aurora Gaming Turkey.
Yep. And if it's just risk that we're talking about, this isn't new to Aurora. They've been one of the few to introduce the more unorthodox meta, the Harleys, which are now being banned against them. So this might just be all according to plan for them, but I have to agree, the draft looks very favorable for Team Liquid.
And it's not just in this tournament, right? We saw the Harley, we saw those crazy picks, but the Amon, the Leomord, it was them who showed it off in the international stage in previous tournaments as well.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora's always been known for doing things like this, but they are also a team that's known for making it work time and time again. I like the draft a lot. I think the Hayabusa is a little off, but still, if there's a team that can do it, it's them.
Yeah. Looking at the emblems, everything looks pretty standard for majority of them. A lot of thrills, so I'm guessing Team Liquid really want to take things into or under control, but Aurora Gaming, despite everything we've mentioned, at least with the Zetian, we're seeing how they also are keeping the mid lane under control so far. So I guess that's stopping Team Liquid to a certain extent.
Yeah. That's something we have been seeing a lot from the Zetians, even for Selangor Red Giants. The way they control the mid lane is, with the Zetian, you have just so much range and instant clear with anyone with Concussive Blast. So even if the enemy team has Cho, it's still a win for you. JP and Sanji are kind of confined to their turret right now, and it's very difficult because on the Forza you want to be active. You want to use those wings by wings early to get the like a little bit of poke on Lunar, maybe a win, or just relieving pressure off of your weak side. All those small victories have been taken away from or by the Zetian.
Ooh, that could have been something for Aurora. Fortunately, Team Liquid are really, really careful in scouting out where they could potentially come from. They're the ones holding the turtles first, though.
Uh-oh. Oh, a lot of damage on it, JP.
But their
airstrike goes down early for Sanji, but he was able to zone Rosa away, and that's the goal. And Team Liquid once again get the first neutral objective with the turtle.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, without...
Hey!
Oh, wait!
Comes the bully. JP comes in. Is he able to get away? It's taking a lot of damage on the JP. The shadow kill. Tienzi with first blood. He's just able to, he does lose the purple buff over to Carl Teasy, but still, at least he finds some revenge. Now Sanford taking a little bit of damage as well, but the disengage happens.
Okay, that flicker was a bit off-timed. I think he could have escaped that a bit or could have split up the damage a bit more, but then he clicked it right as the Ogi shadow kill was cast, so he had to go down. Could have been better, especially as he used the flicker. Oh, Pagu too using the flicker, but going back, yeah. Team Liquid Philippines at that point, I feel like Aurora Gaming should have been more, wait, maybe we talk about that later.
The dragon on Tienzi. Tienzi instantly taken out. A tsunami slam from Pagu. Carl Teasy wants more. Gonna come in. Block on Pagu. Sanji showing up to the party as well. Pagu decimated, taken out. Wiped off the map. A double kill into the hands of Carl Teasy.
Wait, Lunar?
Sanford in trouble. Lunar trying to find something. Hopefully he can pick it up. Yes, Lunar gets the solo kill. Up against 40.
Who's the Apex Predator now? Lunar winging out up top, but also uncharacteristic on both sides. Yeah, Sanford getting solo kill. Carl Teasy recalling on Pagu. I don't see that often.
I can't help but recall what they mentioned in the interview. He just wished good luck to wait. Oheb?
Got a kill on Oheb. Blazing Duet. He will be safe. The fighter emblems just
okay.
too much.
Maybe I can continue what I was saying now.
Yeah.
But
never mind.
Never mind. Okay.
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 Yes.
Yes. Now I.
Never mind.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Wait. You're good. Go.
Go.
Go quickly.
So okay. So Carl Teasy did mention good luck to whoever they're facing against next, because they're really feeling it right now. So maybe that's one of the indicators that they are, because he doesn't usually spam the recall.
Especially after last game. Oh, Sanford.
Oh! Flash on a Tienzi. Tienzi's not going to get out of this one. Boom does show up. Gets some nice damage on a JP. Looking for one more shot. Bagu unable to connect with a Tsunami Slam. Rosa as well. JP gets away safely. Finally, Tsunami Slam does come on to Sanford.
Wow.
Takes some more chip damage from Rosa. He tries to dash back. Gets back to the turtle, and it's another neutral objective into the hands of Team Liquid.
Beautifully done by Sanford there. Getting solo killed up top, he instantly just rotates over, plays for the team, knows that, all right, in this matchup, I'm kind of cooked. Might as well just go and enable the team, the part of the team that's winning, and then rotate back up top. Lunar he's a Sora. He's great in team fights, but in terms of sieging turrets down, not that good. You can already see that the punishment from Sora just staying in lane wasn't all that.
Yeah, and it's the small things. The way he always tries to help JP, that dauntless strike last minute, just JP could survive. And JP himself too, with that well-timed Shunpo, so he doesn't get caught in the title strike. So everything is just slowly falling into place for Team Liquid here. But you have to also note, Aurora Gaming, they're not letting things completely go their way. They're looking for the trades, and these are really good trades because they're getting turrets across the map.
Taking a look at the items here, rush to the Oracle there for Lunar, wants to get more benefits from the healing of Kalea passive. You're constantly proccing in team fights, and it makes sense because he has Concussive Blast. This is the thing that we've been seeing a lot of teams go for as we develop into the later stage of the M7 World Championship. Earlier on in the wildcard, it was all Brave Smite Soras. Then we got to see Lutpi play the Concussive Blast, and I'm like, wait, how does this work? He lost on that, then I'm like, okay, maybe it's not the best. Then we saw more and more Concussive Blast just for Prio, and now it's the best emblem to go for. No one ever goes Brave Smite again, except, I mean, this is we're talking about XP, because Temporal Rain is pretty good for gold.
Yeah, we saw that in Oheb's hands even yesterday, or even just earlier now when he used it and did a couple mistakes on the Sora, but that was already the Tsunami.
Stanford! Now that's more like the Apex Predator. JP! Nice way the Dragon does connect onto Pagu. Feathered Airstrike as well. Shifting Clouds keep Carl Teasy under the tower. JP now trying to run away as Pagu. Rosa want to try to refight this out. Oh no. Masanji and Stanford and all the rest of the team have showed up, and the taunt happens, and JP gets the kill. Now Rosa and Pagu in a bad situation. Turtle up in 3 seconds. Team Liquid gonna reposition.
Lunar probably didn't want to reposition there.
Sanji! Oh, they walk right into it. A stun and a final slash, and Sanford finds Pagu.
It's almost like Team Liquid were like, all right, game 1, game 2, Aurora were catching us with these crazy, unorthodox team fights that we might just have to go for our comfort picks. Oh, JP again?
Okay.
Clouds onto JP, brings him onto the tower, but Sanford showed up in the nick of time, but a shadow kill able to get it now. Sanford in a bad spot as well, brought down to about 20%. Ooh. This is the final slash. And it's one hot on to Sanford. They can't get the kill, but the airstrike comes out. What time? Sanford finally goes down. Pagu with the Tsunami Slam onto Sanji. Oheb! Altizi looking for a target. Blazing Duet from Oheb. And then there's Calm.
Okay.
Finally.
I hope this is real.
It
because
is.
They're a bit too far from each other to re-engage once again and cut us off. But yeah.
We finally analyzed.
Finally, maybe not.
Never mind.
Well, you keep wasting time. You gotta go in again.
Okay. But there you go. You see how these two players of Team Liquid really are working together almost all the time. It's JP and Sanford making things happen across the map, even without Carl Teasy joining in. But when he decides to, that's where the narrative really shifts. This is a clear advantage in Team Liquid's hands so far, but Aurora Gaming just the same could see it as an opening. If they're able to constantly punish these two frontliners for Liquid that way, then they'll have much easier access to these members of Liquid who they're yet to shut down. That's Oheb, that's Sanji, and speaking of...
AP brought in the midst, there was no escape from that one.
Yeah. I don't know about the Shunpu there. Like, he tried to, I guess, body block for Oheb, and then he ended up just going like, oh no, it's me now. All right, whatever, you know? I guess we could say it's worth it because look at Sanford pushing up top, getting the Prio again to maneuver into the jungle, but unfortunately they don't use it to do anything. So at the end of the day, it's just a free pick off there. But Team Liquid are still ahead by quite a bit, and the corrosion side will be done very soon by Oheb. That's going to be quick from him. Swift Trinity, Brute Force Breast Split already picked up now as well by Lunar.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a 2-level gap between the two junglers and a 1k gold lead too. So far Carl Teasy has been doing, or it's not actually Carl Teasy, it's JP and the other members of Liquid doing a great job at choking out resources from TNZ. He's only gotten his second core item just now.
Hold on, Pagu able to pull Sanford back as TNZ goes into the back line. Oh! Shadow Kill does not connect, and Sanford able to flicker away. Lunar still in the midst of things with the shifting clouds, able to bring JP back to the team. Aurora, do they want to keep on forcing this? Lunar backs off.
All right.
It's a retreat.
Genzi goes in with a Shadow Kill.
Onto JP, looking for the final shot and gets the kill.
The RNG just isn't in favor of JP. He's flickered out of the Shadow Kill. I think like this is the third time it's happened, and it just doesn't work in the way that you expect, right? You want to flicker right as the Shadow Kill comes in so that it kind of buffers, but it's just unfortunate. The thing is though, even with the flicker, TNT already had the Quad Shadow and he went Shadow Kill Lunar.
Clouds on a Carl Teasy and Oheb in the face of a Feathered Airstrike, and the damage is too much.
That should have been an opening. There was no retry for Team Liquid.
Sigibum! Wait a second, Pagu! Sanji takes out Pagu! Oheb has gotten the kill, but Sigibum finds Sanji. Carl TZ now in control of the Lord Pit. It's nothing but Rosa and TNZ left.
I legit lost count of the number of vengeances that Sanford used in that previous fight. Oh my goodness, I thought the Fury of the Phoenix could have stood a chance, but yeah. And it was weird. Aurora Gaming, they had such the perfect opportunities. Carl TZ was forced to use his retribution in that previous clash. Team Liquid were already forced to back out. JP was nowhere to look for a setup, but Lunar probably in a desperate attempt to look for another setup to get more just so they could ensure that they have the upper hand and the advantage, tried to go for something.
That's why when teams go for this kind of play style, it's a risk that you're taking where you might overheat yourself, right? And that's exactly what's happening to Aurora Gaming. They find some good team fights, but the fact that Team Liquid throughout the game has gotten more, he's gotten more wins in the team fights, it's built up frustration for Aurora Gaming. So whenever they only get like a small victory, one guy picked off, they're like, I want more. They're giving for TL hope basically to Aurora Gaming, and it's a false sense of security where Aurora are just like, we constantly want more, and the punish keeps on happening. You can't just be making these mistakes against Team Liquid. Look at already, with just a small mistake from Lunar, how much of a goal lead they built. Final slash!
Sanji takes out Rosa. That's the final slash you're waiting to see right before a big push.
With the flickered off angle too, Rosa could not expect that. I mean, there was no way to react to it. He wasn't really visible, and then boom, JP!
In the backside with a kick, but it's the wrong way, and sees Tsunami Slam back to the base. Immortality does pop. Sanford's gonna try to help him out. A shifting clouds though, make sure Sanford kill. Feather Airstrike does come down. Lunar force it back up. Trying to lock onto Sanji.
Whoa.
Does get away on the top side though. Oheb with a BMI back.
Such great timing.
Nice stun.
Yeah. Okay, so they might not go for it first, but that was such great timing on the Purify. Oheb wasn't caught in the title strike, so his Blazing Duet wasn't cancelled out. At least Aurora Gaming were quick to react though, so they didn't feel majority of the damage just yet, but still that's already the Swift Trinity completed for Oheb. And mind you, that was the only time I think where he went in with the Blazing Duet. He wasn't alongside anyone else just yet, so what more if Team Liquid decide to commit with all these resources that they have?
Yeah, take a look at the items here again. With the Wind of Nature as well, Oheb is just so free. There's not really a lot of lockdown by the time he goes in. Oheb's playing this Claude really, really well, and he understands the job description of playing the Claude at this point, right? It's not to go Blazing Duet with the rest of the team initially. It's to wait for some of these resources to be burnt out. Lunar CC being burnt out, the Tsunami Slam from Pagu, and then, only then will Oheb walk up to clean up, and it's been working amazing right now. So Aurora, what is the route they need to take to avoid that from happening? Because again, it really seems like there's no answer right now.
Yeah, they do have answers in their lineup though, very direct answers at that. They do have the Fury of the Phoenix, they can use it to cancel out or at least stop Team Liquid in their tracks if they wanted to, or if they timed it really, really well. And TNZ, well, it's also partly the JP not being as lucky today when it comes to dodging the Ogi Shadow kills, but right now TNZ can also deal considerable amounts of damage if he wanted to, but okay. Speaking of, JP spots out where Aurora Gaming is going to come from.
Play, quick movements from Aurora Gaming. Lunar comes with a shifting blast, but the knockup happens! And Aurora Gaming is shoved in their face! Back away from the Lord. Lunar taken out. Team Liquid going to advance.
2 members down, a Lord taken by the Chef. Team Liquid are looking for the end in game number 3 for match point.
Yup, they lost TNZ and Lunar, 2 of probably the most important heroes you could rely on for your defense.
AP with a big kick lands on Pagu. Oheb gonna get some more shots off. Pagu goes down next. It's Sigibum and Rosa up against the Stampede. A Lord coming down the mid side. Oheb locks on a Sigibum. Sigibum trying to do something, but he just can't do it. Carl TZ and Sanji lock on the base, and that's game 2 for Team Liquid.
Match point secured for Team Liquid in the lower brackets.
That was such a stark contrast between the Oheb we saw in the previous game and the much disciplined Claude that we got to see from him here in this game. But that was definitely mainly made possible by the amount of pressure that the Joe and Arlott were able to put across the map. That was such a commendable gameplay that we saw from them. Coupled with the damage that Sanji provides once he finally gets a hold of this Farsa, you understand why it's such a key hero here in M7 now.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why Aurora Turkey early on were taking away that Farza. It worked so well in the hands of Rosa, and I think a lot of this has been coming down to draft between the two teams. Turkey were able to win game 1 with a clean draft, team 2, and in game 2 things start to go downhill, and now we're just in full shambles.
I gotta agree with Gideon on this one, man. He mentioned in the panel earlier during the draft that the CC pick really like dictated the draft, but for his own team, it really limited them in terms of what they can do in the later phase. And man, the fact that the flex was already taken away very early clearly shows this Team Liquid able to pick up components that just deny that hyperfixation combo of Aurora Gaming.
Yeah. And Carl TZ with the uncharacteristic recalls too. I think that means something for Liquid here.
He's feeling it. Let's see if the panel's feeling the same vibe as Carl. Go TZ, man.
Thank you very much, casters. And yeah, I kind of feel like unless you figure out how to deal with Philippine teams when they go for a utility jungler, it's going to be so difficult for you to go through them because, yeah, honestly, speaking about the draft, there's a lot of adjustments that could have been made, even taking out something like a Kalia Uranus, which does feel more Aurora at that point because I got to say, in this game, I believe only Lunar had a good time in his lane. Everyone else, not really, because if TNZ and Rosa is not having a good time, by the way, just to put into perspective, Rosa finished the second item at almost 11 minutes. How do you say that you're having a bad game? Well, at around 10:40 something, you only completed your second item. You're not going to have impact in that game.
Aurora may have taken my thoughts on have Lunar win the lane a little too far. And really, it's just symptomatic of the loss here. Again, what was that, under 15 minutes? That you're facing off against a utility jungler-centric Liquid lineup. But really, it's deeper than that. It's the fact that Liquid are now comfortable in their own skin. It's the fact that Liquid have woken up and that the Stampede has started up. And now, Aurora has just one more chance to switch it up. I don't even know where to begin.
It's kindling to a fire. The draft was already looking a little abysmal here because here's my problem, right? You're drafting for strong lanes, but you're taking away synergy, right? And the synergy is the most important part in a meta that demands you to fight so well and demands a lot of perfection. And it became very simple. Let's not play for the lanes, let's play for neutral objectives. And that's why we saw that Sanford, he was like, man, I don't like this lane anymore. I'm gonna go on with the GOAT because he's gonna set me up for so many more kills.
Which is why it was okay for Daddy JP to kind of get the short end of the stick. When the Cho dies, it basically took away one major resource, the Shadow kill. And it's maybe even baited out the Fury of the Phoenix. And that's all Liquid needs to know for Sanji to be able to say, yeah, okay, I'm safe. The Hayabusa's not gonna get to me. I am TNZ free. And from there on, they just go straight for the objective. They go on the farm up for Oheb, and then Aurora's left wondering, why do we not have a combo for the Kalia? What was the Kalia gonna do anyways?
Well, we're gonna be looking at the MVP by our official gaming phone, Realme, and there is quite a few things that I do wanna talk about later on, and I'm guessing the MVP is gonna be Sanford. First time we're seeing that, but either ways, he deserves it. 5, 2, and a 5. At this point, just give Sanford anything. Fighter, tank, mage, he can do it all. But speaking of, if there was a time where we have a pause, we can open up a small podcast here where I do want to say, as open as the meta is right now, there is one clear weakness in the current meta, which is the lack of fighters in the jungle, right? Yeah. We have assassins, we have tanks, but the Alpha's not there, the Martis is not there, like...
Leomord is a weird
He's
anomaly.
the only one, yeah, exactly. So I really feel like that also might be a hole where teams just have to consider, where they're not gonna have access to a good fighter in the jungle. You can come up with something crazy, loony like the Lucas, but again, that's just something you gotta consider when you're going up against a team that you know they can use a tank in the jungle.
To be fair, I don't think a better tank or a different tank would have done well against Liquid anyways. Because again, as a fighter, what you're relying on is spell vamp, right? Or lifesteal if you want to swing back. With a lineup like this, especially with Sanford's Arlott out on the loose like this, good luck trying to get close. He's gonna final slash you away, and then you're like wondering, why can't I get anything good?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because even if we swap Tenzi out of this Hayabusa, you give him Baxia, it still doesn't really change the problem, right? The problem is there's a lack of synergy between the different types of heroes. And we already knew that damage was going to be an issue. They had to play for poke, but they couldn't double down on a poke style of composition compared to a composition that just needed to snowball, and that snowball never comes if you don't get neutrals.
I feel like the best way that we can say this is that we know Aurora Turkey to be an extremely aggressive early game team. This is not just the draft for that, right? Like, Zetian can win lane, but I feel like against Farsight it's very difficult. You're good in the team fight, but in the laning phase, not exactly the very best.
Gentlemen, do we agree that maybe the Lunox would have been better?
I agree that the Lunox definitely would have been better, but I also think that if we were to keep the mid laner, I think Pagu needs to get right off of this Kalia, and it's not his fault. It's not like he played badly. It's mainly because it disrupts the overall what you want to do with the composition. How do I find this big burst when Tianzi can't even afford to go for a Sky Piercer the entirety of the game when they found incredible angles to get on top of Oheb pre-level 4?
It sounds like there's trouble in Paradise. Aurora, the reason why they took SRG to the limit was because of how strong and how confident their mid trio was. Now, they seem to be crumbling in front of the final boss. Liquid has awoken. This is an old draft. Like, these picks are months old. They've been ruining people with these same heroes, but what does Aurora have to do? Like, they have to go back to their notes 6 months back?
Gentlemen, I kind of have to bring us all the way back to game number 2, where the draft, took a turn, and I am worried that it got into their heads a little bit too much, because after that game, it does seem like they're overthinking it just a little bit, and Team Liquid are punishing by banning out the Leomord. Once the Leomord is done, it kind of looks like they're scrambling for their notes. It's like, wait, what's plan B again? What's plan B? And I feel like Team Liquid is introducing that panic, going inside the jungle early, disrupting TNZ. So I feel like of all the game-related things that they're doing at the same time, they got to do the outside game stuff. They got to reset.
They have to reset. They have to really think about what they want to do in the game. It cannot just be as simple and a blanket statement of, we win early, we win the lanes, we're going to win the game, guys. There's so much more to it. And I think that TL is one step ahead, because we saw the second half of that draft. At any point of time, they were thinking about maybe Alice could ruin our day. Maybe they could try and sandbag Samford when we're already setting up for the Arlet, which could still disrupt Sanji at the end of the day. There is really tight correlations between EXP and mid laners. Whatever the EXP gets heavily affects the opposing's mid laner.
This kind of just shows how Aurora have clear direction. It's just, maybe it's hard for them to redirect. It's hard for them to step on the clutch, especially when their opponents do this. I don't know if it was in the notes of Coach Badgal Sef and Apex 47 for Carl Teasy to revert to this, or for them to even go back to Oheb weak lane Claude waiting to get that farm, because this is how you reset Oheb. He was the Sora for the first 2 games, just throwing himself over at Aurora. Now he's a Claude, he can protect himself, he's playing safe, he's playing clean. Aurora have to suddenly catch up. Again, it's now momentum and pressure on them.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit more about the drafts, because we do have our notes here and there's a lot of what is, but speaking of what is, what if you have a new way to celebrate esports highlights? Because the official MLBB M Series Tournament trading cards bring premium design as well as modern tech together. Available January here. Head over to oneplay.com for early access. Make sure you guys grab yours and hold a real piece of the M Series Legacy. Apparently we don't have our packs here, but hey, it's okay, because we already did a pack opening and it's looking pretty good.
He took him.
Yeah, you know what? Missed the wagon, they already took it. But speaking of looking good, if you guys play Granger, trust me, he's always going to be relevant in rank. You guys got to make sure that you guys actually get the Battle Pass, because again, the new Thunder Ascended skin is available right now. Unlock the MS7 Pass and it's yours immediately. So make sure you guys get it, because sometimes you're like, okay, I'm just going to wait, and then you just all forget about it. And since you already have the pass, might as well rank up. Might as well get all of those points, level up all the way to level 75 to unlock the beauty, which is the prime skin of a Granger, the Cosmic Finality. If you go even further, you can get the figurine. Like, again, you're unlocking the pass. Might as well go all the way.
No big, 150. 75, you get the skin in game. Double that, you take home this bad boy.
Every year they come up with a real good skin and a real good figurine, and it hits every single time. What I'm scared of is whether or not Aurora will be able to see the end of that tunnel, whether or not they're going to be able to bring it at least to a game 4, maybe all the way to a game 5.
Something that I do want to talk about here, because looking back at our notes, there's this what if, right? You were saying about the CC, but let's just assume they really wanted that. So they first pick up Sora and CC and then the Kalia, right? I feel like either CC or Kalia could have been swapped, because looking at the bans from Team Liquid, they were making sure that TNZ could not play the game. They banned out the Yusun as well as the Harley, right? I kind of feel like for the upcoming game, you know that TNZ is one of your win conditions, and Pagu, honestly, is very decorated. Even though this is like his debut here, he still has a lot of picks in the room.
Yes.
I kind of feel like you got to prioritize something so that TNZ could do something. Even if they got the Harley, even if it doesn't look as good, at least maybe Sanji will have a more difficult time with that Farsa, and maybe even the Claude would have been you know, having some difficult times. I think the Cloud will still survive, but again, it's all this what ifs.
Yeah, no, I think the big what if here, and most importantly, I think is the key, if you are going for Kalia, it needs to be paired. It's a dependent hero. It's not something independent. And I think that right now, Khalid is positioned amazingly in the meta. Now that we know for a fact that Hilda is going to get banned out pretty consistently overall, Cho, as we saw from Daddy JP actually pull off, again, is baiting out a lot of resources. But what if he wasn't allowed to do that? What if he was put down to at least, I don't know, let's say 60% of his HP when he makes those motions? Would that have alleviated the pressure? I would say so. And you still have the Raging Sandstorm for the Feathered Airstrike, because Farsa is a big priority for both sides.
Gentlemen, let me alleviate a little bit of the pressure on everybody's favorite fish girl, Kalia. I think that first phase was fine. Sora, CC, Kalia, very strong. I think it all went sideways when they kind of missed the boat on getting a combo with Kalia by picking the Zetian. So I'm gonna die on this hill. Again, we can all just argue and look back with fondness. Hindsight is 2020. That Zetian should have been a Lunox. And then, I don't know if the Hayabusa would have still been good, but maybe that could have also been some way halfway through a fighter or a utility. The Guinevere was still on the board, but I don't know if that would be a good idea since she's been struggling in that role.
And they're already struggling in damage. I feel...
Lancelot, you could have been Lancelot too.
I don't know, it's really tough against the Fredrin overall. It's the utility jungle problem, right? It makes all assassins feel like, oh man, it doesn't matter how far ahead. If I make one mistake, I instantly die. So your supporting system needs to be there to initiate, or at the very least, bring out multiple problems, forcing TL to answer to them first and then follow down the list.
Or just ride it, just box you.
I kind of feel like part of the reason why they did pick up the Zetian is they needed confidence on Rosa, and Rosa using that Zetian did have an MVP performance against Langray Giants, having a phenomenal game, kind of like him carrying everyone can just do whatever, right? But again, context matters. The drafts is a little bit different. You're going up against a different opponent, but all in all, right now, this is going to be game 4. So unless Aurora Turkey is able to reset here, Team Liquid is just going to keep on moving on.
Yeah, that momentum, the building up to that sandstorm you see behind an entire cavalry charge. It is dangerous. You can't even breathe through the smoke and dust.
Have you ever seen a horse running backwards?
No, never in my life.
Exactly. So best believe, Liquid has found their momentum, Liquid has found their footing in this match. They know what works, they know how to press Aurora's buttons. That's the direction we're going. Now it's up to Aurora to tango with that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to jump into draft where there is a possibility this is going to be the final draft of this series. And the map is going back to Expanding Rivers, the map in game number 1 and 2, where it's notable that Aurora did have a pretty good time on this map. Now, TL, first pick again, Aurora, choose the second pick. And it looks like TL, they're not going to let go of this Leomord. And Aurora is not allowing Carl on that Fredrin again.
Yeah, understandable why they don't want to get hand over to that Fredrin, but they're also getting rid of the Hilda alongside it, leaving up the big question. Jushin, are you going to let it through or are you not going to let it through? Maxia, thank God, thank God.
Get rid of that bad. It's that bad.
I feel like they're okay with the Zetian because the Eve and the Farsa is open. So unless they just don't pick it, I don't know.
But the Jushin, the Jushin, it's been terrorizing the entirety of M7 from wildcards to the Swiss stage right here into the knockout stage. It's still dangerous.
The chef has been cooking. The chef is hot in the kitchen. I think the Zushin would be great to start up the road towards the series finish. If they don't pick the Zushin, what?
Back to Sora, I guess?
Oh yeah, this is... Nope.
All right. Now I'm expecting Farsa to be on this side of the map. Farsa, what do I pair it with? Is there anything that I need to be worried about?
Is there a prio jungle like a Yisun Shin? You want to take that away from Carl, but then it's like, there are other picks like the lands.
I think it's fine because your side lanes haven't been predetermined. If you show the Yishin Shin, you're only going to be able to reveal one other lane, but not exactly which of the side laners. And I think from Aurora's POV, getting the Farsa probably on red 3 makes the most sense. Yeah. So you're going for Sora Yishin Shin. What's another good one? I think you have to kind of show your roamer here, do you not?
So pick up the Cho early. It looks like they're going to pick up the Eve here. The Eve as well as the Sora.
Interesting.
Almost feels like they want to bait LTL to pick up that Yisun Shin, but I hope they have an answer.
Huh.
Yep, they can. If ever they do Yisun Shin here in blue
Uranus.
2 and 3, Uranus red 3. And then they don't have to stress it because at least they know that it's a Yisun Shin in the jungle. They have time.
Interesting. Interesting. So it might be a little bit slower, right? Because as much as Eve is one of the best mid laners that we have so far in the current metagame, not as much burst as I would like to have, especially when you're trying to deal with Jushin. Because at the end of the day, your front line will suffer. Oh, there we go. The Harley is going to come out to try and bait out those spells. I love the fact that from the side of TL that they are going to go with Cloud, but they're pairing it up specifically with the Raging Sandstorm to deal with the RWM and to make sure, hey, Jushin is just slow at clearing waves. Kali can support you in doing that without having to be so far forward.
And this is why we brought up the question. They should have probably picked up TNZ's hero early because, again, they gotta say it as it is. TNZ and Rosa, if they're having a good game, everyone else will have a good game. We saw Lunar having a good game, but not really able to impact that much. Not to say that he couldn't. It really just about these two members, Rosa as well as TNZ, they're critical in their victories.
So this is Aurora reclaiming their mid-trio's confidence and power. They ban out the Uranus. Liquid that takes out the Kalia. Already a very good combo, Kalia Harley. They're attacking the roamers.
I wonder if Aurora will go for, something simple like a Hylos, because we even saw SRG yesterday, even going up against a Claude. As long as you just keep on moving forward, slow everyone down, it's kind of okay.
So it's ban Hylos or ban Gatot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both will be
maybe even consider a Cho. I don't see the problem with a Cho right now because both Claude as well as Jushin are pretty comfortable picking up the Purify. So yeah, probably just Hylos Regato is your safest bet.
I think one or the other. I think we still need to keep, things like Cho in play. Oh, the Akai ban for the side of Aurora. Kind of interesting that they want to get rid of that, knowing that a majority of their personnel so far can either dash in or out or have anti-CC.
Oh, Freya. Yeah. Forgot about the Freya here.
Good bans for the side of Coach RC.
Yeah, but again, Sora can be put into the gold lane, and then you just wait to see what Sanford is going to pick up, and then you just try to counter it. Esme is still open. Maybe they can take that away just to make sure the Eve is relatively safe.
What else? Oh, man. They need Peel. They need Peel no matter what. I think this Jushin is going to cause a lot of problems, especially if, considering that TL at any point of time don't necessarily have to just prioritize their rotations around the mid lane. They could get JP to kind of invade early on just to make Harley's life a little difficult for the first couple of levels, and then we'll see what happens from there. CC revealed here on Red 4.
Not entirely sure about this one. What do you feel about this pick, Leo?
The CC doesn't reveal anything, but at least they're just hunkering down for the possible Valentina EXP lane.
Yeah.
So they're fine with that. But what does Carl TZ pick up? No Fred, no Boxia, no Akai. They dug in deep that far.
Barats.
Could you Lance? We were floating the Barats last night. I think it's a little too ridiculous. I don't think he's in meta like that.
Yeah, I don't think he's in meta like that as well.
Man, you and I both.
I'm really surprised that they went for the CC here. To me, it doesn't make sense because now you basically don't scale at all. This Arlet comes for free. You can basically punish all the melee heroes. Hayabusa for the side of TL, interesting. I would have imagined that they would have gone for a different jungler, but I guess this works.
I get it. Again, the last good utility is Baratz. You just totally dodge it and play to try and kill that Harley, try and find that Eve when she's done with the RWM. The Lance is just gonna find it really hard, might even die to Deadly Magics.
I almost want to see a Minotaur here. Just make it so that TL fight and then you just fight back. Like counter engage instead of super engaging. Maybe hope the Harley can beat a few things out.
I don't know, the final match is different. This is interesting.
I mean, here's the thing. I play Kaja, and this matchup where you think you can get the Claude, but if the Claude already is channeling the Blazing Duet, you will still go through, and now with the Fighter Emblem and everything, you'll just be like, wait, that's not very smart of me.
What am I doing with this full health Claude?
Yeah,
And who's the burst? Just Harley, you know?
It's really just for the Harley, and we're looking at the counter index. Aurora apparently is in the negatives at 1.3, which is on the higher side considering the majority of the matches we've seen so far is 0.05.
You know what? In all fairness, this is better than the Kalia situation earlier, because at least there's a combo. There's one combo. Is that enough to take us to Game 5? That's the question.
Well, gentlemen, I honestly do like Kaja. I don't know with this context, though. And with that, we're throwing it over to our casters with another interesting draft.
5 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could be the end of the line for Aurora Gaming. Everything in this game to equalize 2-2 would take us to game number 5. So they had to pull in all of the stops. They had to go for the risky plays and now the risky drafts.
Yeah. Literally pull in opponents because they went in for the Kaja, which
whip.
It is, but yeah. I do agree. I kind of miss seeing it too, but in this scenario, I might be a bit more iffy towards it because there are just so many people who could stand in front of you and by the time you use your Divine Judgment, can still get away safely. That's the Arlot, that's the Khalid. It's a quick stand guard and the Vengeance.
I think we really got to keep our eyes on TNZ this match. I know that all of these picks look crazy, but for Aurora Gaming, they want to look for early game pickoffs. That's what they've always done. Once Pago hits level 4, it might not be as defensive, like trying to catch Kaltizi when it comes in or trying to catch Oheb. It might be a much more aggressive Kaja here, looking to bring people back and keep our eyes on TNZ in those off lanes, looking for quick ganks.
I love the fact that Pago always goes, pull yourselves together, dude. He's so confident in himself. He's so confident he'll be able to go for those pickoffs.
Yeah. So we might see him not being as hesitant whenever he tries to go for those Divine Judgments. And even those flickers surprises, because I think that's what's gonna really trigger a lot of the battle spells from Team Liquid, so TNC could be a bit more free to deal with the burst damage because he's gonna be the main source of that at this point. You can't really expect to get much from your sides just yet. And now they're really trying to look for potential ways that they could make this or make his presence felt, but Oheb, I feel, is a bit too careful in the laning too, and we've seen how disciplined he played this Claude even in the previous game.
Yeah. I think, in a way, the Kaja pick actually kind of ruined a bit of what I was expecting. I thought, again, I had a similar opinion to Lafel. I thought it was going to be a Minotaur, a hard CC hero to come in as Rogue, because I thought you would want to put TL onto more Purify so that your crazy poke, the assassin threat from TNZ could be more. Now it's that up top.
Magic on Oheb. Oheb might not be able to get away from this one. He's gonna live though. The Deadly Magic was enough. TNZ wants to try to finish it, but he goes too deep and he's taken out. First blood over to Sanji.
Sanji just literally followed him with the Lantern Flares, and he had no other way to get out. The Space Escape was already used just to pour out the damage for the Deadly Magic. But you understand why Aurora Gaming wanted that kill on Oheb so badly. It's just that it was a bit too desperate of an attempt.
Uh-oh. Siggy Boom. Flickers out. Kaltizi. Okay, doesn't get the quad shadow. It's all G. But yeah, again, right? Like, everybody has Flicker. And again, because Oheb, imagine if they had a hard CC, kind of like a, let's say like a Minotaur, that forces you to go Purify. Oheb might not have lived that. They would have just bypassed through it and he wouldn't have been able to space out the way he did. Now, that's another.
Pagu forced to use the Flicker. He's gonna lock on to JP. TNZ comes in. Deadly Magic as well, but still just not enough damage from Aurora Gaming. RWM does come down from Rosa. No final shot on the JP. Team Liquid gets away clean.
It was just countered by the quicksand. guard. And
Yep.
we did allude to this idea earlier on, but it's not an aggressive Kaja we're seeing from Pagu just yet. It's a more reactive, just taking whatever is available for the team. Kaja.
And when you have a Kaja, you need an insta-kill button. You need something to be like, all right, instantly now Oheb again up top. I don't think they're going to try to dive this, so Oheb should still be fine, yeah. But they don't have that. So, again, like, earlier the panel were concerned about, hey, what? Oh my god, what a steal there. But what are they going to do with this full HP Claude? What are they going to do with everybody? Like, they get Khalid is like, guys, okay, I guess he's just going to go and heal.
Yeah, and that's a Claude who literally first item prioed the Demon Hunter Sword, and not even any magic defense items, not even tough boots or not even a robe. He really just wanted to go for damage. Oh, wait.
Nice grab onto Sanford. Final slash though to response, and in comes Sanji and the rest of the team in a huge sandstorm onto Aurora Gaming. Sanford is taken out, though Lunar able to get the kill. JP as well. Carl Teasy finds Lunar, but it's a 2-for-1 right now. Pagu, Rosa, Tienzi back under the tower, but a decent trade for Aurora Gaming.
Yeah, really good. At least they were able to force it slightly under the turret. Rosa, though, okay, there's no Ogi Shadow kill, so he will be surviving that. But yeah, it took a while, but at least Aurora Gaming were able to get the job done. That kill onto Sanford and JP are going to be very much worth it. And you see how the idea of forcing a fight in a place which is slightly favorable for you can actually do wonders for this lineup.
It was under the turret, so despite Sanford not being insta-killed, he was kind of forced to just go in to actually get more HP with a vengeance. And it ultimately got him to take way more turret shots than he should. And the fact that JP got a Raging Sandstorm was great. If it wasn't for Rosa, who already planted himself down with the real world manipulation, so much damage AoE onto them. So JP and Sanford, who were just trying to survive, got melted down by those taps.
Now we see they are going to be positioning first in this upcoming turtle. Lunar is there too, but he's getting poked down by Sanford here. Oh, they go for the setup.
Whoa! Oh, nice RWM on Sanji, forced to flicker back. As Siggy Boom continues to attack onto Oheb. Oheb able to take out Lunar, and Carl dashes in with a shadow kill. But the group up saves them all together. Lunar down. Team Liquid come out with the extra win.
That was perfect from Kagu.
Yeah.
He got Sanji and still they didn't have enough damage, dude.
Yeah, this is a Jusin who is on a slightly tankier or a Brave Smite emblem, which you would recall was introduced quite a while ago or a while back, but that was just the Crimson Beacon keeping him safe there. And Kyle TZ, you cannot distract this guy. Yeah, you can't distract this guy.
I understand it now.
Yeah.
They pick up the Khalid, they see the Harley now. Shadow kill on Lunar.
Could be okay, able to respond. Back to Carl TZ. Oh, but he goes down. Licks back. Carl TZ doesn't have the range right now. Lunar is safe.
Back to the point though. I think I understand it now.
Understand what?
Wait. Wait, okay. Harley. Jumping around, right? There's already Khalid to handle it. You jump on the Harley, you win it out because you're a tanky boy. Then as you jump around to your previous hat,
okay,
Hayabusa comes in. So it's like they have so much mobility that it bypasses that escape tool.
Stanford once again with a huge final slash. In comes Sanji. The shifting cloud, but it's not enough. Rosa. Oheb taken out as Oheb threads through, but Siggy Boom jumps into the midst of it and takes out Sanji and Oheb. It's 1, but in comes Carl TZ. The final hit on to Sanford. Siggy Boom still in the back line. 3 for 1. Aurora Gaming still wins out in these trades.
Maybe not choose fights that are in those positions, that are close or near to turrets of Aurora Gaming, where Rosa can just comfortably use the real world manipulation, because that happened twice in a row now, but it was just a lot more valuable for Aurora Gaming this time.
Yeah, maybe choose your fights better, right? Like, I know you're Team Liquid and all, you know, you're like the final boss, but you still also have to respect the enemy team, I agree. That just felt like complete disrespect. Raging Sandstorm on Tienzi.
See, Magic Trick's back. Out comes the RWM, and Rosa catches 3 with the shifting clouds as well from Lunar. Carl tries to come in. He's looking for the shadow kill, but he's just stuck right now. Has to dash back. Sanford's gonna be the next on the block as Carl TZ falls next. And Aurora Gaming are looking to even the score.
By the way, the shifting clouds actually brought Liquid out of the real world manipulation, but the damage was still enough for Aurora Gaming. Lunar got a triple, and that's gonna be a massive problem for them moving forward.
And it was just complete disrespect from Team Liquid. again, you have the mobility, but it doesn't mean you have to chase Tianzi like that. They use all their resources to go in, and they forgot completely how their composition was supposed to work. How Aurora Gaming could pick them off. Yes, they didn't have enough damage at the start of the game, but after those constant throws from Liquid, they definitely do now. Take a look at the replay again. Brother, Harley, Tianzi broke all of their ankles, and yes, they did get taken out of the RWM, but by that point, they were already so low. They were all already tapped down by Rosa.
Yeah, maybe leave the job to Carl TZ to finish things off. You could just do as much as you want to bait out skills from Aurora Gaming, because essentially because of your mobility, that's what you could really specialize on. You have so many ways to just bait resources and skills out of Aurora, specifically that space escape from Tianzi. If we're just really talking about shutting down the jungler of Aurora Gaming, but the way things are going are just really not looking good for Liquid, and the gold lead has already shifted over to Aurora.
With the gold lead, it's going to be very, very scary. Like Aurora Gaming's composition, this is the lineup that we were talking about. It is very risky. We didn't get to see a lot of it in the early game just because they lack that damage, but when they have the snowball, all of those little like weaknesses disappear. Now you have enough damage, whoever you go for in the Divine Judgment, and also it acts as a distraction for Tianzi to just go over to Oheb in the back line, or even Sanji.
Not just that, but JP, this is I mean, the Khalid can be a risky pick as well, and once it falls behind like this, 0, 2, and 5, there's not much JP can do. He can bring in the big engage, but he's immediately shredded down, crowd controlled. There's not a whole lot of engage left. Now it really comes down onto Sanford to look for a big final slash or something of that nature. Team Liquid definitely needs to play all of this defensively.
I'm surprised the Divine Judgment didn't come through there. I thought they were just going to be like, all right, JP is walking over to us, let's go.
G.
Yeah.
For an angle, decides not to do it.
They want to deny this purple buff really badly. Okay, at least he gets
Oi, Tianzi! Oh, thank goodness he had the hat.
Out the Raging Sandstorm as well.
No, it's fine. Cooldown's very low there, right? So it's like, it's still a Sky Piercer for Carl. Did not notice. Let's take a look at the items.
Yeah, he's still slightly behind of Tianzi though, if it's just that. A bit of catching up to do here for majority of the members, but I think it's more emphasized on the EXP lane matchup. It's also mainly because of the triple kill, I guess, that Lunar did get earlier on in the top lane. But I think that's where we put a bit more importance on what Trek said about Sanford being the guy who could potentially turn things around for Team Liquid here. It's really that final slash onto the right target that could shift things a bit towards their favor.
Yeah. It really seems like for Aurora Gaming, coming into this mid-game, I thought there would be more physical defense items, but they're still going for like traditional build paths here. Even the Oracle straight for Lunar, despite not having any more healing from the rest of the team here. So, again, I would like to have that Pagu.
You're going to get pulled back. It's going to be enough to take him out. The final deadly match to come through. And a beautiful RWM to keep TL at bay. They claim JP for their own.
That's a ZRWM, a zoning real-world manipulation. So well played, but now two big ultimates are down, and Team Liquid might want to pounce.
Carl TZ still holding the back side. Are they going to make an angle?
Okay. They might just be
Lunar!
for that goal.
Beautiful shifting clouds. Carl TZ's gone as Sigaboo jumps into the backside. A blazing duet from Oheb, but it is defensive. Pagu's looking for the next target, and Sanji's off the map as well. Sanford, one of the last two members standing, will not stand a chance. Aurora Gaming are taking this possibly.
Yeah, it's not going to come from Pagu. The second re-engage wasn't going to come from Pagu. It's going to come from the other members. Can be Lunar, can be Sigiboom. In that instance, definitely was Lunar. So Team Liquid, even despite the lack of real-world manipulation, couldn't really feel confident enough to look for the engage. Now they lose a base turret, and the Lord is in the hands of Aurora Gaming.
Oh my lord. And again, you see it. We were talking about it, right? What is the Khalid going to do when you're 0-3, when you're behind? Dude, he got melted. Pagu was just like, all right, I understand. Earlier, he really should have just gone for the Divine Judgment, but he played it safe. Then they realized, wait, we can actually just burst this guy like he's nothing. Divine Judgment goes in. They all go for the damage, and even that zoning ult from Rosa to save them from a possible flank angle from Team Liquid. It was beautifully done. Aurora Gaming, after game number 3 earlier, I really thought they had forgotten a lot of what their win conditions were. But they reset so good, and now with, again, a very interesting composition. As the panel said, Tianzi just loves it.
Yeah, this is terrifying. Pagu has the chastise pile drawn and also the fleeting time. So whenever they get a successful pick-off, it could be an easy round 2 for them. Worst case scenario for Team Liquid, and they have to rely on the way.
Why? Pagu? He flickered!
Oh!
Get pulled back. JP with the Raging Sandstorm. RWM is canceled. What? Clouds from Lunar. JP just can't get the kill as TNZ continues to creep forward. But Oheb backside with a Blazing Duet plus the winner crown, but still nobody drops just yet.
TNZ gonna go in. Siggyboom with the damage with the curtain call. Oheb able to flicker out. They defend.
Oh my goodness, Immortality pickups too were there. Team Liquid had to play it a bit safe, but that was a really commendable engage that we saw from them. Nonetheless, Aurora Gaming though, they already take out 2 base turrets and that's gonna matter a lot. But we've seen Liquid in this situation.
So despite the Pagu fumble on the Flicker Divine Judgment, it is still a win. They got 2 base turrets like Brigida just said earlier. So it's still gonna be really tough for Team Liquid to handle the waves here in the side. Aurora Gaming, this would have actually been the way for Team Liquid to punish Aurora Gaming. They need to stick together, right? Now, Team Liquid, how do they handle the waves in the bottom lane while Aurora Gaming constantly look for those pickoffs? Because if TL go and split their members apart, Aurora are just going to take either the 4v5 with a Flicker, now pull yourself together, already 40 stack for Pagu, very, very quick. Even though he messed up earlier, it's already going to be up for the next fight, right? So pickoffs will always be available, and Team Liquid will need vision, but none of their heroes can get them vision.
Yeah, that's why JP has to be a bit more careful in scouting the brushes here.
I do want to say I think Aurora Gaming maybe pushing a little too hard here. Needs to still keep it slow. It's still TL that you're up against. They do gain position. They wanted that pick off a second ago, but that could have been risky, so I like the fact that they backed off, gained position over the Lord.
Yeah. I really consider who Liquid are willing to send to the opposite lane to here, because ideally it'll be Carl TZ with a bit more of the mobility to get back somehow despite the nerfs on the Shadow of the Hayabusa. Oheb, it's not really coupled with the Louis, so there's no easy way to go for those opposite lane manages, but this is what makes it terrifying. Look at where TNZ and Rosa currently are positioned across the map. You couldn't just send out anyone at this point to take care of the lanes.
Chastise Pauldron and the Melfic gun again. It's the pick off call. TZ! Oh, he checks the bush, and they go for the sentry. They're able to reveal, they get that vision onto Aurora Gaming, but it's gonna be down for quite a bit now, and that's another window that opens for Aurora Gaming that starts to close off for Team Liquid.
Okay, they're gonna go for JP here. Sanford and Sanji.
Oh! Wasted out. A beautiful winner crown from Sanji. Carl TZ is looking for an angle now as well. Team Liquid making their way in. Pagu getting caught up by Oheb. Siggyboom taking some damage as well. TNZ's forced to flick back with a hat trick.
Yeah.
PL now has control over the Lord Pit.
They gotta go for it. Pagu, no Divine Judgment. RWM!
The end does come down. Pagu looking in as well. Carl TZ able to take the Lord though. And Pagu's shredded down, but a Blazing Duet. Now he does pop. JP in the backside looking for TNZ. Pagu there as well as Siggyboom and Sanji in the 1v1. Lunar with the shifting clouds, but may go down. Carl TZ taking this game into his team's hands.
JP with a double. Siggyboom
That's a shutdown.
Wants to cut all alone. I'm not too sure about the Sanford.
Okay, uses the flicker. He catches up somehow, and the final slash too.
Siggyboom just needs to try to buy time. Carl TZ's there with the shadow kill. Winter crown comes out, buying time for his team. It's 20-second death counters for Aurora Gaming. But the Lord, the game is back into a possible Team Liquid advantage.
And again, well played. Hey, I question it. Forgive me, I was not familiar with your game, Siggyboom. Amazing winner crown on the flicker. And now it delays Team Liquid from getting even more than they should have actually, right? 4,000 gold lead still. Pagu's gonna be up, Lunar's gonna be up. That really denied all of the full capitalization from Team Liquid. Now, Aurora can still breathe. They still have the advantage. Yes, Team Liquid, it's swinging back towards them, but they won't be able to crack a base turret open unless they get another good fight.
Yeah, and at least Pagu knows now that he has to be a bit more careful in terms of his choices.
Yep.
He has to check who has ways to actually still survive, who has the Winter Crowns, who has the Immortalities before he actually commits.
Ooh, JP into the back. A nice final slash for the RWM comes out. Lunar still standing. Sanford goes down first as Pagu jumps into the middle to keep Team Liquid zoned away. The Lord does crash into the base. JP, Oheb, the Blazing Duet in the backside. Oheb! He takes out Rosa. Carl TZ. Siggyboom down.
Team Liquid break through the base, and it's nothing but Pagu and TNZ. Team Liquid Philippines, the cavalry rages on!
And the charge of the cavalry continue in the lower brackets.
Oh my goodness.
They bend, but they do not break.
We thought Aurora already had it. They were slowly finding the right targets. They were forcing the fights close to their turrets, and the real-world manipulations were always on point. And JP almost felt as if he couldn't do anything anymore.
Really got to give props to Aurora Gaming Turkey though, because they performed out of their minds in game number 4. It ended up being 3-1. But really, it's all about those little things, the experience that comes into play, and the clutch factor of Team Liquid. It's always kind of their thing, you know, like they will look weird sometimes because they always take that gamble. Whether they're winning, whether they're losing, that early game was definitely weird for Team Liquid, but they made up for it with all those mechanical plays, man. Sanji, winner crown on the Divine Judgment, and then here, JP able to go in with Raging Sandstorm, baiting them to fight and just throwing ends.
Oheb jumps into the back line here.
Yeah.
That's
winner crown.
RLTZ.
Yeah.
Beautifully done by Team Liquid. Oh my lord, was that a beautiful performance from Team Liquid. And honestly, from Aurora Gaming Turkey as well, they did all they could. They pulled out all of the trump cards they had left. The Harley that was hidden. The combos, the risk.
Yeah.
The lineup rating didn't believe in him. But for a second, everybody did. Everybody who had their eyes on this match had a belief of like, Aurora, they could possibly take TL to game 5. They could possibly take down the Titans of MLBB in the lower brackets. But for now, we're gonna throw it back to the panel to dissect that beautiful game 4.
Going up against TL, that's the one thing you don't want to do. Once you caught them in their mistake, you kind of got to hold on. The moment you give room for TL to make a play, that's it. That's GG. And I don't know, man. Like, that was an amazing game coming in from both teams. But yeah, TL, just too good at this point.
Yeah, honestly, a big props to Aurora Turkey. Man, it's heartbreaking to see a team lose in this particular fashion, but their draft did not help. Didn't help too much in being able to enable them to do exactly what they want. And don't get me wrong, honestly, if we put draft to draft, I would say that TL has a lot more options overall, but they did throw just a little bit. They got a little too excited, a little loosey-goosey with it, and that gave Aurora the opportunity to potentially turn it around. However, it's about impact, it's about who makes that first move, and unfortunately, when Lunar misses the engage, it's an almost guaranteed win for the side of TL.
Impressive how Aurora made that absolute lineup work. Again, they need pickoffs, they need to play from there. Definitely put Team Liquid up against the corner, but macro genius is what Liquid played with here to be able to defend and hold out, to find those angles and go for the win.
Again, amazing play from Aurora, but again, this is elimination match. But for now, we gotta look at the winners here. Team Liquid still on the road for the Golden Road. We're gonna throw it over to the host for their interview.
Turkey's champion have already made history as they set a new record finish for their region this M7. But now we unfortunately have to bid them goodbye. Thank you to Aurora Gaming, and we await your stronger return next year.
And now, let's welcome the final boss, Team Liquid!
Boys, Sanji, congratulations on winning another elimination match. And I'm not sure if you guys have actually noticed this, but many people has been looking at Team Liquid as the M7's final boss. What do you think about this, Sanji?
I think we're not the final boss. I think Aurora PH is the final boss because they improve a lot in M7, and I think UA and Light is the final boss in mid lane.
Oh wow, Hito is not the final boss. How about you, Stanford? Do you think you are the final boss for this one?
I think we're just challenger because we lost twice, and I think, yeah, let's just see what happens with the next games. But for now, it's not.
You don't think you're the final boss?
Yeah.
You don't think completing the golden road means you're the final boss? You're just a mere challenger, this M7, huh, Sanford? Okay, now, Sanford, I have to ask, so far, this M7, the MVP list is actually being dominated by EXP laners. But maybe coming from an EXP laner like yourself, could you tell us how important is the EXP role in this meta currently?
Well, I think personally they are the one who set the tempo, and also like the one who will set the aggression in the early game. So that's why that role is really important for the early game.
Wow, set the tempo and the aggression is the key to win the game, right? So, Sanji, like you mentioned before, your rival, Aurora Gaming PH, has already advanced to the grand final. They said they really want to meet either your team or Selangor Red Giant. Is there anything you want to say to them?
Tagalogin mo, go.
Sa akin, parang wala naman ako masasabi sa kanila kasi kung gusto nila kami kalabanin sa finals, edi pipilitin namin yung sarili namin na makapunta sa finals. Kasi para na rin sa mga fans namin na pumunta dito sa Indo.
He said he actually doesn't have anything to say to Aurora Gaming Philippines. And if they do want to meet in the finals, they will do what they can do and do what it takes to get to the grand finals, because this is a tribute to all of the fans who traveled from the Philippines to come to Indonesia and support Team Liquid Philippines. And of course, what about you, Sanford? Is there anything you want to say to Aurora Gaming Philippines at all? And of course, to your fans.
For Aurora, wait for us there, and hopefully we'll meet there. And for the fans, thank you for the unwavering support, and you guys are one of the strength of Team Liquid, and hopefully we can make PH versus PH.
Wow, so see you guys there in the grand final. So thank you so much once again. Congratulations and good luck for your next match. And we will throw it back to our panel.
Thank you very much, Glenn, as well as Rose. And it's kind of weird because they were giving message to Aurora as they defeated Aurora, right?
Different Aurora.
Different Auroras, you know, one defeated Turkey and the one waiting in the grand finals is one from Philippines. And I'm not even going to wait for the item to talk about this. The Kaja look good because of the passive, where you paralyze your opponents, paralyze in the sense that you slow them down and then reduce their damage, which does give you quite a bit of advantage when it comes to the team fights. But again, if the positioning gets thrown off, and that's what Team Liquid really did, where they kind of force Aurora Turkey to be out of position, and then they just capitalize on that mistake. But as we're going to talk about that later, right now we're going to be looking at the MVP by our official gaming phone, Realme here, and it's going to be Oheb at 2-2-8. Again, having an amazing performance. And all those engages, those damage, 91,000 total damage in this game.
Yeah, really not surprised that Oheb was going to be able to pick this up on this Claude. He was playing a strong laning phase, especially considering that Sigiboom had his number for a good number of games already. But every time Oheb gets his hands on this Claude, it's pretty much game over. The backline always gets destroyed. He seems to always find the angle. Better yet, I would have imagined that at some point he would have made the mistake of accidentally falling into the Divine Judgment. Always had Winter Crown on time.
Oheb's veteran wiles showing, definitely understanding how he is the team's main investment. Sure, some of y'all might be looking at that Hayabusa by Carldizi as the MVP. Personally, that would have been my vote. But at the end of the day, none of this would be possible if Oheb did not hunker down and say, it's been a tough series for my team. I have to hold it out, especially since it did this go the distance. This went weirdly long, which is where I think Aurora kind of suffered. They didn't finish fast enough.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate we missed the highlight where the game really changed when Pagu tried to get a catch onto Sanji. Amazing reflexes with the Winter Crown. And then after that, it kind of did seem like Aurora Turkey, like, wait, hold on, what are we going to do here again? And then TL just caught them lacking. And we can also see Oheb shouting his love for Aurora.
Yeah, I mean, understandable as well, because I think that even for him, he understand that he was going to be targeted regardless. This entire series, they're like, okay, we beat him, we beat the Filipino sniper in lane, we're gonna win the game.
And I think that is the one thing that Aurora kind of got confused with. Lafel, you mentioned how, oh, that didn't work, now what?
Yeah.
This lineup is an absolute. It just does one thing very well, that is suss out targets, pick him off. If that doesn't work, what next? Sure, they converted well into punishing and taking down inhibitors. Again, dealing permanent damage to that bottom lane, forcing Liquid to play a little more macro, have JP control lanes, vision, bait out certain things, and then Oheb to hold it. But at the end of the day, Liquid found their play across the map. That's what impressed to me. The fact that they did that, all the while bottom was bleeding out.
And here's the thing, right? As much as bottom was bleeding out, TL don't need a lottery ticket team fight. And that's the big difference. Aurora, oh, Luna needs to catch maybe 2, 3 people in the team fight to actually make the engagement work. Pagu obviously focusing on high priority targets. And Sigaboom, every single time the current call comes out, it must catch 2. Those are so many factors that play into a lotto ticket in winning team fights compared to Liquid, where they can take their sweet time. Oh, we didn't hit everybody with the ult, not the end of the world.
And we got to shout out Carl's veterancy here. I believe the entire team Liquid kind of figured out that there was a gang, there was a trap being set inside of their own jungle, and then they snuff it out. That's a very good indication to show that the players weren't autopiloting the entire time. Their minds are always aware. It's like, okay, the map is being a little bit too quiet. They might be in this bush, quad shadow, okay, they're there, you shut down the play. It really does seem that Team Liquid was able to win this one because, in a sense, they can see the future by remembering the past. With all those games, they know what kind of setups is being made, and then they just prevent it from happening.
Unironically, if we're talking about reminiscing and having a little bit of nostalgia, I will say that if Aurora Gaming PH was showing us the multitude of metas that has grown over the M series, here the mechanical difference shown by TL truly is impressive. Fast reaction times, blind guessing where people are, similar to how, Carl TZ was still doing that during M2.
Well, honestly, gentlemen, thank you very much for breaking down this series. But here's the thing. We have one more best of 5 after this. It's going to be Alter Ego going up against Team Spirit. So that's going to be an amazing match. Also an elimination match. We're going for a break, but when we return, it's going to be that best of 5.